Hola, Fire Nation, JLD here on a sunny Caribbean day. Just wanted to give you a little crib tour of the place that Kate and I moved to back in 2016 here in Puerto Rico. I want to show you the EO Fire Studios and a little tour of the house in general. This is the crib behind me, so let's go take a quick tour. All right, so here's our lovely palm tree that made it through Hurricane Maria and the front of our house. Let's head over to the front walkway and see what we have going on. I'm walking towards the front entrance, but we're gonna take a little detour and go down the side walkway first because I kind of want to show you guys a little something down here. There's a little panoramic of the backyard, the true reason why we chose this place. There's the barbecue area, kitchen terrace up there. Let's go take a little glimpse of the Caribbean, why don't we? All right, now I'm standing on the edge of the pool with our panoramic view of the Caribbean. There's the Vieques Island in the distance. And as I keep coming around, here is the full grandeur of the house.
2 men, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses, 8 kids, 1 business coach radio show. It's the Thrive Time Business Coach Radio Show with Dr. Zellner and Clay Clark.
We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here.
All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back to The Conversation. It is the Thrive Time Show on your radio. And on today's show, Eric Chubb, Mr. Business Coach, we're going to be interviewing the renowned podcaster, John Lee Dumas.
EOF, baby. Entrepreneurs on Fire.
Let me give you some fun stats. During the month of June, the Entrepreneurs on Fire podcast it reported a gross income of $165,000, gross expenses of $31,000, and a net profit of $134,285.
He should call that a profcast because he's just making green.
Check this out. Let me give you a little background into the life and times of John Lee Dumas. Upon leaving the U.S. Army, he enrolled at Roger Williams University School of Law in Bristol, Rhode Island, where he then dropped out after only 1 semester. Dumas then took a job working in corporate finance for John Hancock in Boston. He then went to New York City to work for a technology startup before leaving to move to San Diego in 2009. In 2011, he moved to Maine to start. Seems like a lot of moving. In 2011, he moved back to Maine to start a career in commercial real estate. While getting started in his new career, he found himself listening to podcasts while driving around, and he noticed that none of his favorite podcasts provided content daily, and that's when he had his epiphany. Thrive Nation, when did you have your epiphany? When did you have your aha moment? This guy had his aha moment while driving around. He believed that if he could develop a daily podcast focused on interviewing successful entrepreneurs, then it would resonate with his target audience of entrepreneurs. So he came up with the name Entrepreneurs on Fire and decided to call it EO Fire for short. Daily, he continued to grind after launching in September 22nd of 2012. As a result of his passionate delivery, JLD has got to the top of the iTunes charts. He's been the top downloaded podcast. The guy's had millions of people downloading his podcast. He's interviewed Seth Godin. He's interviewed Gary Vaynerchuk. He's interviewed Tony Robbins. He's been downloaded in over 140 countries. And now, without any further ado, our exclusive interview with JLD, the founder of the Entrepreneurs on Fire podcast.
For over 6 years, over 2,000 episodes, over 70 million downloads to date now. I continue to get consistent feedback from people who enjoy the show, who get value from people like yourself, Clay, that have been past guests. And that just kind of keeps me going. That keeps my motivation high.
I think your story is so powerful because many people have the idea, hey, I'll do a 5-day-a-week podcast. I'll do a 7-day-a-week podcast. But you actually did it. And if I can, I'd like to go back to that place in your mind where you were recording 7 days a week and you had 1 subscriber. And it was probably your mom or your neighbor or maybe yourself. And then you had 2 subscribers and then 3. Talk to me about what that felt like internally when you had so few subscribers those first few months. Because I think there's a lot of people that start a podcast and stop, or start a business and stop. Talk to me about how you fought that internal desire that most people have to quit.
Well, it felt like I was speaking to an empty room. It felt like I was putting in all this time, energy, and effort, and then putting it out into a void that nobody was consuming. And it was quite discouraging. And, for me, I just had to keep saying, listen, like, you're doing this for a reason. You're creating this show because you wanted it to exist, and you know that other people do as well. And so for me, I was just looking at each interview that I would have with Gary Vaynerchuk, with Tim Ferriss, with Seth Godin. Like, yes, I may not have a huge listenership, but look at the relationships that I'm building. Look at the connections that I'm making. Look at this one-on-one conversation that I just had with Tony Robbins. I mean, this is an amazing and cool and just very unique opportunity that I have, because now I have a quote-unquote show. I'm able to get people to commit 15, 20, 30 minutes of their day to have a conversation with me, whereas before they just couldn't do that with just any Tom, Dick, or Harry because they're busy people. So I just continue to look for the bright side of things and saying, you know what, even though my listenership isn't massive, even though my subscribership isn't through the roof, as long as I'm seeing a steady increase, and as long as I know I'm getting value personally from these great conversations, I'm just going to keep the nose to the grindstone. I'm going to keep it happen. I'm going to keep making it happen. And you mentioned Seth Godin as one of my past guests. I read his book, The Dip, multiple times during that time frame, and I realized that this is what businesses go through. They go through this dip until they hit this inflection point where the momentum starts. And the beautiful thing about momentum is once it starts, it's really hard to stop.
I've heard you say that you wanted to create time freedom, that you wanted to create freedom. That was a big vision you had, was to create freedom for yourself with the Entrepreneurs on Fire podcast. What does freedom mean to you? Now that you have the momentum and you have the subscribers and the audience and the platform, what does freedom mean to you? What does it look like to you as you're broadcasting from Puerto Rico?
Well, that will bring up one of my definitions of freedom, which is location independence. I love freedom because to me it means that I can be where I want to be. Time independence is huge for me. That's a huge thing about freedom, is that I can work when I want to work, how hard I want to work, and just overall lifestyle freedom. Like, to me, that is freedom. Like, knowing for a fact that when I woke up this morning, Clay, everything on my calendar was put there by me. I wanted to have this conversation with you, and I'm glad that we're having it. And everything else that's on my calendar is there because I put it there, not because it was handed down as a task or my boss said do this or do that. But to me, freedom is the ability to choose what I do, where I do it, and how I want to do it.
Now, why did you and Kate decide to move to Puerto Rico? I think a lot of our listeners are not familiar with you and the Entrepreneurs on Fire podcast, and I certainly want to introduce them to your podcast. And many people are familiar with your podcast, but you guys were very intentional about moving to Puerto Rico, and you could have moved anywhere. I mean, you guys were based previously in San Diego, if I'm correct. What made you want to move to Puerto Rico? When did you decide to move to Puerto Rico? Talk to me about the Puerto Rico move.
So we decided to move back in 2016. So we've been here for over 2 years now, which has been great. And I'll answer your question first with the short answer and then with a little bit of a longer answer. Okay. So the short answer is taxes. We moved to Puerto Rico because of taxes. And the longer answer to that is we lived in San Diego. We loved living in San Diego. It's just beautiful. It's meant for entrepreneurs, specifically location and lifestyle independent entrepreneurs. It attracts them. We had great friends. We had a great place. We loved it all. But we didn't love giving half of our money every single year to either the federal or state government. But, there was just nothing you can do about it. Everybody's going to pay taxes, death and taxes, so be it. But then my CPA brought me the opportunity of this lovely little Caribbean island that's actually an American territory called Puerto Rico, which I've actually had visited before, and I knew it was lovely. And he said, listen, Puerto Rico has this opportunity called ACT 2020. It's been going on since 2012. And if you move your business to Puerto Rico and you live in Puerto Rico for at least 183 days of the year and you make it your primary residence, meaning that you have a closer connection to Puerto Rico than anywhere else in the world, you pay a flat 4% corporate tax rate. No federal.
Oh, yes.
No state.
Oh.
4%. I went from paying 51% to 4%. I gave myself a 47% raise by moving to Puerto Rico, and it's been a financial game changer.
So moving to Puerto Rico, Thrive Nation, think about that. You could reduce your taxes. Now, for the Thrivers out there, like myself, I own businesses in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and in Dallas and different cities. And I don't know if anyone's ever been to Oklahoma, but it's called the center of the universe, and I think we hype it up because really there's not a lot to see. Can you walk us through what it looks like or feels like to live in a tropical paradise? Just give us a glimpse into what a typical day looks like for you now that you live and work in a tropical paradise of Puerto Rico.
So I wake up at what I call civil twilight, which is when the sun is still 6 degrees below the horizon. So it's very light out, and civil twilight just basically means that planes can legally fly without lights at that point. So I wake up at civil twilight, I go down and I kind of begin my morning workout by my pool, which is a beautiful infinity pool that actually also overlooks the Caribbean Ocean. It's pretty epic. And I kind of watch the sunrise as that happens, like over the Caribbean, because we face east. So a super cool sunrise out of the ocean. It's a great way to start the morning. It's very warm and humid this time of year for sure, even in the morning, which is totally fine for most of the workday because, I am working inside in my office and sleeping at night in a very climate-controlled, air-conditioned room. So no worries with that. But, being outside, you definitely get the heat, definitely get the humidity. And so I crush my workout in the morning, get some nice morning sun laying by my pool, reading a good book, typically on business to kind of get my mind rolling. Then I journal, do some meditation down there. And then I'm coming up and I'm kind of getting into my workday at that point. And then I'm sitting in, my cool air-conditioned office. And every time I get to step outside for anything, I'm probably sweating pretty quickly after that because the humidity can get into the 90s this time of the year for sure. Typically, we have a nice afternoon, just absolute torrential downpour, meaning that for 15 minutes, a cloud passes over us and just, pours water, but then it's gone, and then it's a sunny day again, and you almost, if you blink, you almost miss it. Of course, that changes a little bit during the rainy season, which is coming up in September, October, November. But for this time, we pretty much get one solid shower a day. And then in the evening, it's just perfect weather out. I think that's the glory time for me. And that's when Kate and I love to go for a walk in our community and just kind of take in the fresh breeze. What I love about our place here in Puerto Rico is we live on the southeastern part of the island. So the wind that hits us has been traveling thousands of miles over the Atlantic Ocean from Africa. So it's like the cleanest, crispest air. It's been over the ocean for over 1,000 miles. So it's just a really cool experience down here. We were just actually in Colorado hanging out at 12,200 feet at the base camp of one of those 14,000 footers. And just the difference in the humidity from there to here is just incredible. And you grow to love it.
You have talked a lot about loving the grind, which allows you to go to places like Colorado and live in Puerto Rico and to do the things you do. But you've talked a lot about loving the grind. And I know we have a limited time, but can you share with the listeners your grind from starting the EOF podcast to where you are now? What was the toughest part of that grind for you?
The toughest part of that grind for me was getting over the imposter syndrome, getting over the fear that I had of who am I to start a podcast? I was an officer in the U.S. Army, then I was in corporate finance and commercial real estate, and I went to law school. I had no experience in broadcasting or interviewing people, and that was a grind. That was tough for me to get up and actually get over my fear and my doubts.
Steve Currington with Total Ending Concepts. Did you ever have any fear when you first became a mortgage banker?
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, when I got in the business, I came right off of one of the biggest failures I ever had in my life. So, obviously you don't want to be there again. So, I mean, that's the biggest fear. I think that's what drives a lot of people, though, is when you've been there, you don't want to get back there. And so that kind of fear sometimes can drive you to not fail again or to not fail as bad.
You know, one of the big fears I have, Chuff, is on spending too much time and money on my office supplies.
yeah.
But you pulled me aside and you said, Clay, you don't have to fear. I have a solution for you. What's the solution, Chuff?
Solution is onyximaging.com. Order your office and printer supplies and get a free printer copier from these guys. Check them out at onyximaging.com for your free printer copier. All you got to do is order office and printer supplies. onyximaging.com.
Make sure you never miss a broadcast by signing up for the Thrive Time Show podcast. And back to a show that's cooler than the other side of the pillow. It's the Thrive Time Business Coach Show.
Here's the welcome to Thrive Time with Dr. Z and Clay Clark too. They can tell you all of the rules. When passion is a profit, you can grow till you drop. Instead of hoping, wishing, thinking when it'll stop. Yeah. Time to face the rise and grind. We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom and we'll show you how to get here.
All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back to the Thrive Time Show on your radio and podcast download. On today's show, we're interviewing arguably the number one podcaster of all time. Let me just give you an example. During the month of June, Thrive Nation, I want you to ask yourself, how much money did you make? After taxes, after you paid all the taxes, after the bills, after the expenses, how much money? Okay. How much money did you make before taxes? Well, this guest, John Lee Dumas, he started a podcast called Entrepreneurs on Fire about 6 years ago, almost 7 years ago. And he started with nothing. He decided to grind every single day. Could you imagine what it would be like to start a podcast with no experience in broadcasting, no audience, so to speak, and just to grind every single day? Grinding, creating content, researching, grinding, interviewing guests. Hello, is this thing on?
Finding guests.
Is this on? Finding guests, reaching out to guests, being rejected by guests,
Over and over.
Then you finally get some traction and a little more traction. Next thing you know, you're the number one podcast on the planet. But that took 6 years. Or 7 years. Well, John Lee Dumas, the host of Entrepreneurs on Fire, Chup, he just reported in June of 2018.
Let's hear it.
Gross income of $165,000. That's awesome. And after expenses, a profit of $134,285.
Come on.
And I'll tell you why. Because he's been consistent. He's consistently reached out to big names. He's interviewed Seth Godin, Gary Vaynerchuk, and Tony Robbins. But he's going to tell us a little bit about overcoming fear. And Chup, you've worked with a lot of entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Why is overcoming fear such an important topic? How to overcome fear. Why is that such an important topic?
I think it's beat into us in our culture to not stick out, to not be that person that's super proud. And when you're a business owner and you're doing a good job, you need to be proud because that's who you are and that's how you feed your family. So you got to be proud and then be proud of the work that you do. So you just have to kind of step out of that comfort zone and get used to being a proud person.
So Thrive Nation, without any further ado, our exclusive interview with JLD, the founder of Entrepreneurs on Fire, an incredible podcast. He once interviewed me and I wanted to return the favor. So here we go. You know, you have talked a lot about loving the grind, which allows you to go to places like Colorado and live in Puerto Rico and to do the things you do. But you've talked a lot about loving the grind. And I know we have a limited time, but can you share with the listeners your grind from starting the EOF podcast to where you are now? What was the toughest part of that grind for you?
The toughest part of that grind for me was getting over the imposter syndrome, getting over the fear that I had of who am I to start a podcast? You know, I was an officer in the U.S. Army, then I was in corporate finance and commercial real estate, and I went to law school. Like, I had no experience in broadcasting or interviewing people, and that was a grind. You know, that was tough for me to get up and actually get over my fear and my doubts and my second guessing of myself to actually do it. But then, you know, I continue to educate myself every single day and reading quotes and biographies and going down that path and just recognizing over and over again that everybody who's achieved something amazing in this world has achieved it by doing that thing. Meaning Andre Agassi became great at tennis because he play tennis. Fill in the blank podcaster became great at podcasting because guess what? They podcasted. And nobody starts good, at something. We all start usually pretty darn bad. But if you're just willing to put in the time, put in the grind, put in the effort, and that's why I loved doing the daily show, was because I was so bad at first. And then after 100 episodes, I was kind of bad. And then after 500, I was kind of okay. Then after 1,000, I was getting good. And after 2,000, I'm getting even better. And it's just one of those things where I'm getting up and I'm putting in the effort and I'm putting in the grind, getting just a little bit better every day, which is why one of the most recommended books by me to others is The Slight Edge by Jeffrey Olson. Because if you are just getting a tiny bit, 1% better every single day in something, that adds up to massive exponential results over the long term. But a lot of people are just so short-term thinking, they don't see the fact that eating healthy for a month, is not having a huge impact on their waistline. Well, guess what? Sometimes it takes a year of clean eating and doing the right thing. And that's just the reality. But that can have a massive exponential result by doing the right things every single day, by grinding every single day.
I'm glad you mentioned the Slight Edge, because it's kind of funny. I read that book for the first time while I was getting prepared for a DJ show. I had the largest wedding entertainment company in the country. We're doing 4,000 weddings a year, and I'm reading Slight Edge before the show because I wanted to make every show better than the previous show. And someone said, "Oh, you need to read that book. You need, because it's all about mastery." And so I want to ask you, as you are now to a level of excellence that very few people ever achieve, what does the vision look like for you? Where are we going to see Entrepreneurs on Fire take you and your family? Where are you going to steer this ship in the next 24 months, next 3 years? Where do you see it going? What's your vision for the Fire Nation, as you call them?
What I love about the situation that I've been able to attain right now with Entrepreneurs on Fire is one of, incredible financial stability, great brand recognition, personal authority and influence. And so it's given me this really cool opportunity to jump on new and next opportunities. So do I honestly know what that next opportunity is? No, but I know that if it clicks with me and it excites me, that I can really go all in financially, time-wise, bandwidth, and make it happen. So, 24 months from now, maybe there's an Entrepreneurs on Fire, augmented reality. Maybe there's a hologram, maybe there's this, maybe there's that. There's just so many things that with technology just exponentially speeding up how it is, I'm just excited to know that I'm going to be able to jump on an opportunity when it comes. I don't know what that is right now, but I know that I'm going to be ready for it when it comes because I can invest in it financially, invest in it time-wise, and invest in it emotionally, and those things are critical.
Well, I see you, and this is I see you probably buying a ton of OxyFresh franchises and Elephant in the Room franchises, and that's not just because I own them, but I'm just kidding. But no, now as far as kind of as a final thought here for you, final question for you. For the listeners out there, a lot of our listeners are diligent doers. They're the kind of people that want to just know what to do. They say, "Clay, I really enjoyed this interview today with John Lee Dumas, but what do I need to do? Or where can I find, what's the action step I should take?" So, John, if you're talking to 100,000 folks that want to know what to do, what is the JLD tip of the day? What is the action step that you'd recommend for all of our listeners to take? Thrive Nation, do you want to know what the number one podcaster in the world wants you to do? What's the one action step that he recommends that you would take? When we come back, he's going to tell it to you. But first, I encourage you to go to hoodcpas.com. Chup, why would anybody want to go to hoodcpas.com?
Well, if you're looking for a proactive accountant, somebody's going to help you turn those financials into somewhat of a dashboard to see where you're going in your business, you want to reach out to them and schedule a free consultation. They're actually going to give you a copy of Warren Buffett's only authorized biography, Snowball. So check them out at hoodcpas.com. hoodcpas.com.
Chup, you're blowing my mind. You're painting me into a corner. hoodcpas.com.
And now back to the Business Coach Radio Show, devoted to making America boom again. It's the Thrive Time Business Coach Radio Show.
There's no complaining, no excuses. You're the stoppage or the breakthrough. It's a choice and it's all up to you. Your average is an enemy that will cut you out of dollar streams and other things you without a doubt. Yeah, now it's time to make the climb. We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started
Bishop, Mr. Clay Stairs, Mr. Steve Currington. Welcome back to the Thrive Time Show on your radio and podcast download. And for all the Thrive Nation out there, there won't be very many podcasts where I can say that our next guest is the number one podcaster of all time.
Wow.
That's very true.
Yes.
There's Tim Ferriss, there is John Lee Dumas, and then there's everybody else. I would say Gary Vaynerchuk maybe in that top 10 conversation. You have, you'd say Tony Robbins is up there. You'd say that Dave Ramsey. But really, I mean, you have John Lee Dumas. He stands alone.
Cream of the crop.
The cream of the crop. And so this guy on his website, he reports on eofire.com, on entrepreneursonfire.com. He reports every month his gross income and his gross profit.
It's so sick. It's gross.
Sick. It is sick. So this month, he reported gross income of $165,000 and a profit of $134,285.
Holy cow!
Clay Stairs, this guy started his podcast after getting out of the military. He decided to enroll in college at Roger Williams University of Law in Bristol, Rhode Island. He dropped out after a semester. Then he took a job working in corporate finance in Boston for John Hancock. Then he went to New York City to work for a technology startup before leaving to move to San Diego. And while living in Maine in 2011 doing commercial real estate, he started listening to podcasts while driving, and he thought to himself, I should start a podcast. You know, maybe I could do one that's every day, because most people don't have one every day. And I'm going to interview celebrities. And so for 6, now going on 7 consecutive years, he's reached out to the biggest of the biggest celebrities, faced countless rejection from where people just ghost him, they say no, they turn him down, but yet he continued to record with an audience of 5 subscribers.
Every day.
7 subscribers.
Couple more.
14.
There they go.
Wow.
28.
Every day.
Every day. Now think about this. Today, he's making a profit of $134,000 a month. And recently, he achieved his goal of moving to Puerto Rico. So he now broadcasts the Entrepreneur on Fire podcast out of his home in Puerto Rico. So I want to get your take on that, Clay Stairs. Then I want to get Steve Currington's take on that. Clay Stairs, you are the millionaire school teacher. You're a guy that was once a school teacher.
Just a guy.
Probably watching life of entrepreneurial success, sort of looking at it from the outside going, okay, that's something somebody else does.
Oh, definitely.
And how old were you when you finally jumped into the entrepreneurial game?
47 years old.
So what encouragement would you have for the listeners out there that would say, gosh, I could never do what you do, Clay, or I could never do what John Lee Dumas does. Can you encourage the listeners out there?
Yeah, well, it comes to a point where you're going to make a decision. Are you just going to keep doing what you're doing and not feeling that fulfilled feeling, not being in the place where you are tapping into what you know is inside of you? Or are you going to make the leap? I remember, Clay, talking with you early on, and you bringing up this concept of you got to jump. You got to make the jump. So many times, I just found myself wanting to get someplace, but my big thing was I was unwilling to submit to anybody and follow anyone. And that's what helped me back.
Can I throw a crazy thought out here?
Crazy thought.
Do you guys remember the Indiana Jones scene with the invisible bridge?
Oh yes, I use that.
That's what that makes me think about, because you needed a coach.
Go the leap. Yeah.
They were too scared to take the leap. You got a coach. He threw the sand on the invisible bridge, and then you saw it, and you took the leap.
Yeah, you take the step.
Steve Currington. For anybody out there that feels discouraged and says, I see you today driving a Lamborghini. I see you today going out there and having massive success at Total Lending Concepts. I see you really closing a lot of mortgages, but you don't understand. I mean, I've never done that before. I could never do what you do. Encourage the listeners out there, because not everybody is where you're at right now in life. A lot of people aren't, in a place of financial freedom where they can go out and buy the things they need and have the time freedom to do what they want. I mean, you this weekend, you went to California as an example. Why did you go to California this weekend?
Drive fast cars.
Why did you go to California last weekend?
I had to work last weekend, so I didn't last weekend. Every other weekend.
The weekend before, why'd you go to California?
Brings me joy.
Where did you go?
Los Angeles, Malibu. Huntington Beach.
Back to
And you went there, and you are parking your car in a underground parking garage, your car being a Lamborghini. And you're flying out to, where'd you fly to?
We fly into LAX.
So you're flying from Tulsa to LAX to drive a car and to hang out.
the scenery's beautiful.
No, but work with me. So you're
Sounds
doing
so good.
No, listen, you're doing that because you enjoy it.
Right.
Are the airplane tickets free?
No, I had to pay for that.
What?
Is it free to
Busted.
park your car?
No.
It was a free car
No.
though, right?
Was
It
the
a-
Lamborghini
yeah.
free?
No. What it costs for my car to sit in LA is more than my rent used to be. For my car when I was first married, I think. I mean, it's like, wow, that's what we paid in rent back in.
So here's
At the
years ago.
condo.
So you're in a different place than most of our listeners, and I just want you.
Well, but I would just say, like, and not to cut you off, but what you should do is take your current age and then take Clay Stairs when he was 47 and subtract the two. So now, what are you, 35? Okay, well, you have a 12-year head start on someone like Clay Stairs, and I would just say to people, you have no excuse, because people say, well, I wasn't given this opportunity, I wasn't done this. It's very difficult, and I would say Stairs is probably in the 1% of the 1% of 47-year-old men that could reinvent themselves and become who he's become today after being the person you are for 47 years. So if you are 35 or you're 30 or you're 41 or you're 29 or however old you are, then you've got a huge head start on someone that did it. And he is a special person for having done that, but it really just took him taking that leap, like Chuck just said, of just deciding that he didn't want that life anymore. And you too can decide that.
Clay, what's your take on that? Because you are the person that made the jump at age 47. There's a lot of people that feel stuck. They just feel stuck. They say, I'm 30. I can't possibly switch to a new career.
I've been doing
because
this for
I have
20 years.
I have my degree in this. I have my degree in that. I've already been working 5 years in this career. For anybody out there really fearful of making the jump, what advice would you have?
I love this. It's like turned into an age show here. Clay's the old man in the crowd today.
Clay is an old person.
the
Let me
old
ask
person.
you this.
I would say it's a compliment.
No. The mic's over there, big timer. Big timer. Mic's over there. No.
No, I think for me, it's always come down to a strong sense of identity. And even when I was a school teacher for 15 years and loving it, there came a time where it's like, I know there's more in me than I have tapped into. And I am unwilling to stay here. I want more. So I left the school teaching. I went and took over my family's business and ran that for 10 years. But then again, it hit me. There is more in me than I've tapped into.
If you feel like there's more in you than you've tapped into, and you're over 47, you're probably having some back pain.
Thank you.
So I encourage you to go to Dr. John Sibley, our incredible show sponsor, drjohnsibley.com. He's the chiropractor of choice for Wayne Gretzky, NHL Hall of Famer. That's drjohnsibley.com. Check him out.
And now back to the Business Coach radio show that has a diary called the Guinness Book of World Records.
Started from the bottom, now we're at the top, teaching you the systems to get what we got. Colton Dixon's on the hooks, I break down the books. C's bringing some wisdom and the good looks. As the father of five, that's why I'm alive. So if you see my wife and kids, please tell them hi. It's the CNC up on your radio, and now 3, 2, 1, here we go.
We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here.
All right, Thrive Nation, on today's show, we are interviewing arguably the #1 podcaster of all time, John Lee Dumas. This is a guy who had a vision to start a podcast that would be broadcasted 7 days a week with no previous experience. And now, during the month of June, after almost 7 years of podcasting, he reported a profit of $134,285 during the month of June. He actually achieved his goal of moving to Puerto Rico, where he now broadcasts the show while looking out over the Caribbean. Think about that. I mean, this guy went from having the dream to actually realizing the dream. And so I've been asking him about how he got started and about the grind, and now we're going to talk to him about the vision for the next 2 years. What is the Entrepreneur on Fire podcast going to be doing 2 years from now? What's he going to be doing with eofire.com 2 years from now? So now, without any further ado, our exclusive interview with JLD, the founder of the Entrepreneur on Fire podcast. Where are you going to steer this ship in the next 24 months, next 3 years? Where do you see it going? What's your vision for the Fire Nation, as you call them?
What I love about the situation that I've been able to attain right now with Entrepreneurs on Fire is one of, incredible financial stability, great brand recognition, personal authority and influence. And so it's given me this really cool opportunity to jump on new and next opportunities. So do I honestly know what that next opportunity is? No, but I know that if it clicks with me and it excites me, that I can really go all in financially, time-wise, bandwidth, and make it happen. So, 24 months from now, like maybe there's like an Entrepreneurs on Fire, augmented reality. Maybe there's a hologram, maybe there's this, maybe there's that. There's just so many things that with technology just exponentially speeding up how it is, I'm just excited to know that I'm going to be able to jump on an opportunity when it comes. I don't know what that is right now, but I know that I'm going to be ready for it when it comes because I can invest in it financially, invest in it time-wise, and invest in it emotionally, and those things are critical.
Well, I see you, and this is I see you probably buying a ton of OxyFresh franchises and Elephant in the Room franchises, and that's not just because I own them, but I'm just kidding. But no, now as far as kind of as a final thought here for you, final question for you. For the listeners out there, a lot of our listeners are diligent doers. They're the kind of people that want to just know what to do. They say, Clay, I really enjoyed this interview today with John Lee Dumas, but what do I need to do? Or where can I find, what's the action step I should take? So, John, if you're talking to 100,000 folks that want to know what to do, what is the JLD tip of the day? What is the action step that you'd recommend for all of our listeners to take?
Well, honestly, that is one of the biggest struggles that I see with entrepreneurs today is they don't know what their next step is, which I get because it is really hard to find your next step. In fact, like Clay, I've interviewed over 2,000 entrepreneurs. Like I've identified why entrepreneurs win. I've seen it over and over and over again. It's because they have one big idea and they go all in. One big idea and they go all in and they dominate and they simply win. And that's actually why I've been busting my butt for the last couple months creating a completely free training that solves that problem. It's called 3 hours to your big idea. I say, you give me 3 hours, I give you your big idea. Because if you don't have your big idea, you don't have that North Star. You don't know where you're going to get there. So I create that free training in response to that. And that is my biggest piece of advice to everybody out there is you have to know what your North Star is. You have to know what your big idea is. You have to have something that you're going to go all in on and be best in show in. What is the thing that you are best in show? And if you don't have that thing right now, you're never going to achieve the level of success that you want. And if you're afraid that you're niching yourself too far down, well, guess what? You need to start that momentum. Then, like me and like Clay, as you achieve more success, you can broaden out into other areas and dominate the world. But you'll never get that initial momentum first if you don't. So get your big idea. It's going to only take 3 hours. Yourbigidea.io. It's free. Get over there, do it, make it happen.
JLD, I appreciate you taking your time from your beautiful view out there in Puerto Rico and from your podcast. You've been an inspiration to so many people. And I appreciate you doing that one thing so well over and over. You're inspiring so many people. And again, thank you so much for agreeing to be on today's podcast.
Thanks, Clay. It was a blast.
Take care. Have a great day.
Bye.
Now, Thrive Nation, when we return from the break, we're going to be interviewing a very diligent doer, a man by the name of Alex, who owns an OxyFresh franchise in San Francisco, California. Well, why are we interviewing real entrepreneurs? Why are we interviewing? I mean, Clay Stairs, you coach business owners. Why in the world would we take the time out of our schedule to interview real entrepreneurs and not just talk to authors and theorists? Why would we actually take the time to interview people that have actually done it, who've lived it? Why would we want to take the time to interview a firefighter turned OxyFresh franchise owner? What can we possibly learn from someone like this?
Because you got to learn from the people that have actually walked down the path, people that have actually taken the steps, not only have they taken the practical steps, but they've walked down the emotional path and navigated that emotional path, which I know that you know, and Chup, you know as well, being a coach, that it's the stinking emotions that just trips everybody up. So how do we navigate that? What do you want to do? You want to find the person that's been to the top of the mountain. That's your tour guide. That's the person.
You know what I'm going to do? I've never asked you to do this on the show, but I'm going to cue up the music, and I'm going to let you go off on a little bit of a tangent about the importance of managing your emotions.
Oh, my.
Because you do such a good job with this, with your clients in the one-on-one. When you're coaching clients, Clay Stairs, you do such a good job of helping your clients stay focused on the thing that matters. And so it doesn't have to rhyme, but if it did, it would be convenient.
Oh, man, do not put that pressure on me rhyming here, but
take us to
you
church.
have got to know who you are. If you don't know who you are, you will not go far.
Hot.
You have got to raise the bar, my friend.
Yes!
Glory.
Glory!
Because the thing is that your identity, you have been designed to step into a new identity. You have been designed to create a footprint here on earth. But so often we do not understand who we are and who we've been created to be. And we just allow the situations and the circumstances in our daily life to knock us around. That was me. I get it.
Fight back.
Yes. It's time for you to step into your true identity. I promise you, you have been designed. You have been created to create here on earth.
I want to ask you this. Can you brag on one of your clients that is a diligent doer, just like Alex from San Francisco with OxyFresh? One of your clients, Clay Stairs, that you've worked with where you go, man, this client has really been coachable, approachable. They've just been a diligent doer. They've implemented everything I've asked them to do. These guys are a shining light of this right here. This is how it should be done. I mean, Gene Breeze comes to mind. There's a lot of clients, but can you share a story of one of your clients that's really implemented the proven systems?
Yeah, Gene Breeze is a great example, but let me dive into Jeff Pell of Sky House Company out in North Carolina. Just fantastic. He's a home builder, builds like second and third homes for people there in North Carolina. And Jeff and I started out with just talking about how he could find better workers. But that thing led into so much more of a relationship and a coaching relationship. I've just so appreciated Jeff. Every single week he says, got it done, got it done, got it done. Every one of his action items he is accomplishing. You know, I talk a lot about the path that we walk down, Clay, is the yellow brick road. And we've all seen the movie enough. We know what to do with the yellow brick road, right?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you follow the yellow brick road. Well, I don't feel really good. You follow the yellow brick road. Well, Clay, I just don't know if I totally agree. Follow the yellow brick road. It's follow the yellow brick road. And Jeff has been wonderful at doing that. Just got off the phone with him earlier today, and he has done a fantastic job. What he is finding all of a sudden is the time freedom that he is desiring has actually come about. He was telling me just today with his schedule, he's saying, Clay, I'm following it at about a 6 on a scale from 1 to 10. But when I started, I was a 0. And I'm finding that I'm getting set free from all of the trash that happens every single day. So I'll give a shout out to him. It's just fantastic.
Yeah.
Eric Chupp, can you tell us about one of our incredible show sponsors, Williams Contracting, and why our listeners should all go to will-con.com?
Well, if you are looking for a contractor that's going to give you a realistic budget within 3 days and a copy of Clay's book, Thrive, on top of that, you've got to get a hold of these guys at Williams Contracting. You can check them out at 918-682-5511. Again, that's 918-682-5511. Or go online, submit a form to these guys. They'll get a hold of you, www.will-con.com. That's will-con.com.
Thrive Nation, once again, he's painted me into a corner, so I must say, will-con.com.
Attend the world's best business workshop led by America's #1 business coach for free by subscribing on iTunes and leaving us an objective review. Claim your tickets by emailing us proof that you did it and your contact information to info@thrivetimeshow.com.
All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back to the conversation. It is the Thrive Time Show on your radio. And on today's podcast and a radio broadcast, what we're doing is we the first hour, we interviewed John Lee Dumas, the #1 podcaster of all time.
Sick.
And now we're interviewing an entrepreneur who's on his grind. This is Alex with OxyFresh in San Francisco. Now, Chup, why is it so rare that you find somebody like Alex who's willing to put in the effort and the grind needed to become successful?
I think it's hard for a lot of people, right? We don't grow up in a society that teaches those values necessarily. They teach you how to memorize things and sit still. And a guy like this, he's going to get into it, but he's a full-time firefighter. He started his business as an owner-operator, grew it from there. Now he manages it while fire. It's the American dream right there. It's awesome.
And I would say if you're buying a franchise, what you're doing is you're buying a proven business system. You're buying like a car or a business vehicle. But you have to supply the effort, and that effort could be viewed as the fuel.
Right.
You're buying the vehicle, but you have to supply the fuel. If you go to a car dealership and you buy a vehicle, you have to supply the fuel on an ongoing basis. You have to do the maintenance, but you are buying a vehicle that has been proven to work.
Not only that, you're buying that vehicle and they're placing it halfway down the track for you.
Right.
Your starting line is halfway down from where you would be if you were starting your own business.
Yeah. So if you have access to a $60,000 small business loan or less, you have an ability to round up $60,000. I would encourage you to go to thrivetimeshow.com/oxyfresh.com. That's thrivetimeshow.com/oxyfresh. I'm sorry, it's thrivetimeshow.com. I've had a ton of Dayquil today,
Oh, it's a
Thrivers.
day.
I've had a ton. I mean, literally, I've had a ton of Dayquil
A dump
today.
truck full.
And the reads are tough today.
Yes.
But if you go to thrivetimeshow.com/oxyfresh, you can learn more about an OxyFresh franchise. But whether you buy an OxyFresh franchise or you reach out to us for business coaching, nothing works unless you do. So I want you to listen in here to Alex, because this is a diligent doer. Now, Clay Stairs, you've had hundreds of people over the years reach out to you for business coaching. And how rare is it? Because there's a lot of clients you turn down. You say, you know what, this client's probably not going to be a good fit.
Yeah, just
how
fit
rare
today.
is it to have somebody like Alex, who's a diligent doer, who's just going to implement the proven systems? How rare is that?
Well, unfortunately, it's very rare. I mean, extremely rare. 1%, 2% is just very rare. People that will do the grind over time.
Oh, that's a big part
Over
of it. Yep.
time. That's
Consistency.
Kind of the key. Yeah, the consistency.
You heard it here from a business coach, Clay Stairs. You heard it from a business coach, Eric Chupp. Now, without any further ado, our exclusive interview with Matt Klein, the brand developer with OxyFresh, based in Denver, Colorado, and the franchisee, Mr. Alex, based out there in San Francisco, California. How's it possible to have so many different states on the show at one time? Oklahoma, Colorado, California. Well, we have technology.
Puerto Rico.
Stay tuned.
Puerto Rico.
My name is Clay Clark. I am the father of 5 human kids, and my entire quest is focused on helping you to create both time freedom and financial freedom for you and your family, which is why during the last few weeks, we have had a guy we've harassed on a pretty much a weekly basis here the last 3 weeks, and that is Mr. Matt Klein with OxyFresh. Matt Klein, how are you, my friend?
I am doing great. It's another beautiful week, beautiful day out here in Colorado. So we're ready to rock and roll.
Well, for anybody just tuning in and maybe somebody who hasn't heard your previous interviews, can you explain what OxyFresh is and what your role with OxyFresh is?
Absolutely. So first and foremost, I'll do the role. I'll switch it up on you. I've worked for OxyFresh Corporate. We're a floor cleaning franchising company. We specialize in carpet, upholstery, tile and grout, and hardwood floor cleaning services. But we've just been able to really enter the market in a very different way. So my role here is specifically to bring on qualified, growth-driven franchisees to take our franchise to the next level. We currently are approaching about 400 territories in the United States and Canada. And that's my main role. So I just speak to people that are interested, engaged, get them to the point to come out and become a franchisee eventually. And that's what we do. So, you know, from not only bringing a very unique cleaning system to the United States and Canada, but low moisture, EPA certified green, safe for kids and pets, smaller fuel efficient vehicles. So just a better process than what you're typically used to seeing, but also accompanied by a very automated infrastructure, national call centers answering the phones for you, online scheduling capabilities, a lot of the online marketing done. So, we try to get you a business in a box to where, for those that aren't comfortable just starting something from scratch, we're a really great option in that space.
And I just want to pile on for a second here. Thrive Nation, according to Forbes, 9 out of 10 businesses fail. But of the 10 businesses that do make it, very, very, very few business owners ever create time freedom or financial freedom. And so what I love about OxyFresh is you guys have worked to create turnkey systems so that diligent people who are willing to put in the effort can succeed. And so on today's show, Matt, you brought on a guest today, a guy from the Bay Area, San Francisco. Alex, is that right? You brought a Bay Area OxyFresh owner on the show?
I did, yeah. And Alex is awesome. He's very unique. He's if you want to tout about somebody, not only is he one of our most influential franchisees in the country, he's on our advisory board. He does things the right way. He's a full-time firefighter, world-class salsa dancer. So talk about time freedom and flexibility. He's doing a lot.
So, Alex, we have hundreds of thousands of people that download our podcasts, and I want our listeners to get a chance to know you and your story. So, how did you first come about? How did you first discover OxyFresh? How did you get introduced to the brand, and what made you want to buy a franchise?
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, you're so welcome.
My name is Alex. I'm from the Bay Area. I'm a 21-year San Jose fire captain, and I'm still currently actively a firefighter with San Jose. I've owned OxyFresh franchise for about 5 years right now, and what got me interested was I needed to find a business that I could run while I was still being a full-time firefighter. Now, us firefighters, we do have a bit of a different schedule. However, it's not consistent. It's not like I just work Mondays and Thursdays or something like that. My schedule is very dynamic and it changes. So I needed something that could change with it. So owning a carpet cleaning franchise was one of the things I came across and looked like a great option. It's a need business, not a want business. And I wanted to, get into that type of business where people need you. And so that's how I came upon carpet cleaning. But with OxyFresh, what I really liked, there were several different things about it that I liked when I looked into it. I found them on a web search, like everyone else does these days. And the thing that turned me up with OxyFresh was that it was a all green, non-toxic type of cleaning. And I thought that was really cool. Number two was that you didn't need a big giant truck to run your business. So you didn't need to buy what is basically anywhere between the $30,000 and $50,000 piece of equipment to actually clean your carpets and do your jobs. So I already had a truck. All firemen own trucks. It's just a fireman thing. And I already had a truck, so I was like, okay, I'm halfway there with that. And they're an all-green, non-toxic option. And, it just looked good. So I got to talking to them, and here we are.
So when you bought the OxyFresh, there was probably a lot of things that happened between the time that you thought about buying an OxyFresh and the time that you bought an OxyFresh. I mean, you're a firefighter. That's not something you can do overnight. It requires thoughtfulness, training, preparation. It requires a certain level of diligence to become a firefighter. So when you decided, hey, I'm interested in looking into an OxyFresh, what was the process like for you from the time that you reached out to OxyFresh to the time that you decided to actually sign on the line to actually purchase an OxyFresh territory right there in the San Francisco area?
So the process was actually very positive. It included a whole lot of phone calls and questions, and a lot of contact with the front office there over in Denver. And my point of contact was a gentleman named Chris Antolak, and he was on the phone with me a lot because I had a lot of questions. And buying into a franchise or any business for that matter, it requires a heck of a commitment and a lot of money financially. So it's not something we can easily just jump into. So the questions were often and frequent for Chris. So it was a lot of phone time, a lot of online work, a lot of thinking, how I would work my schedule with my fire department schedule. And, so it just really was a lot of kind of soul searching and questioning, and then talking to other franchisees. They gave me a bunch of phone numbers and a contact list of who to call to ask about, what running OxyFresh was like, and what kind of jobs they were getting, and how busy they were, and if they were making any money or not. So I was able to talk to several franchisees. Some were successful, some weren't, and that was interesting to get two views. So that's what it was like before I actually signed on the dotted line. We went out there for a 3-day discovery day, is what they call it, and that was enlightening as well. That's where they show you the process. That's where you meet everybody over at the main office, and it's awesome. It's a very, very, very positive experience.
What, Matt, from your perspective, because whenever somebody decides to buy an OxyFresh franchise, they're buying the systems, they're buying the technology, they're buying the research, they're buying the history. What makes Alex successful? Why is he? What about his effort and his diligence allows? Because I feel like the person who buys a franchise has to supply the gasoline to the vehicle. You can buy the vehicle, but if you don't put the effort in, there's no gasoline there. So what about Alex makes him stand out in your mind as an all-star franchisee?
Yeah, that's a really great question. And I think, most people don't ask that enough of me. Why are your successful franchisees successful? And on the other side, what makes someone not successful? Because at the end of the day, we can give you as many tools as possible. And I guarantee you, if you break down our business compared to who we're competing with, there's no doubt you have more resources, support, and automation. But if you don't do anything with it, and you get out of bed and you play golf at 9 a.m. every single morning before your business is established, that's a pretty tough road, right? And I like golf just as much as anybody else, but you're not doing your business justice. And I guarantee you there's people that have a heck of a lot more time than Alex that don't utilize it correctly, right? It's the drive to be more successful than the next guy, because that's all it is, right? Somebody's gaining market share in your area, but what are you going to do about it? Are you going to leverage the resources that you have to be successful? Or are you going to say, you know what, it's too hard to get Google reviews for my business and ask my customers?
Clay Stairs, you are a business coach. How rare is it that you find a client that is willing to ask for Google reviews with the frequency that Mr. Alex is with OxyFresh in San Francisco? How rare is it to find somebody who will implement the proven path?
Well, it's very rare, but the people that we work with, the people that are our clients, they have learned how to be diligent doers. And so they've been able to bust through that. Again, just throwing out to both Tammy and Jason Pemberthy down in Houston. They've done a fantastic job of finally getting their Google reviews, exactly what we're talking about here. They've just done a fantastic job, and all of a sudden, they've got more reviews than any home builder in Houston.
Yes.
My friends, you can absolutely do it. You can execute the proven path. Stay tuned. We're going to share with you more about the OxyFresh story from San Francisco.
3, 2, 1, boom! You are now entering the dojo of Mojo and the Thrive Time Show.
Thrive Time Show on the microphone. What is this? Top of the iTunes charts in the category of business. Drilling down on business topics like we are a dentist. Providing you with mentorship like you are an apprentice. And we go so fast that you might get motion sickness. Grab a pen and pad to the lab. Let's get in this. It's time to bear some fruit like some Florida oranges. 3, 2, 1. Here come the business ninjas.
Sonic boom!
Thrive Nation, I've got 2 profound epiphanies I want to share with you today. Epiphany number 1. In the world of business, nothing works unless you do. Just like buying a car and not putting gas in the vehicle, failing to fuel up the vehicle, a vehicle will not run if you don't fuel it with gas. A business won't run unless you put in effort. My second profound epiphany is that I have had so much Dayquil today, I am now worried.
Everything's an epiphany.
And so I can tell you this, whenever
I'm now worried.
No, I've kept a 21-year streak. I've been self-employed since the age of 16, and I have not missed a day. I don't ever have a sick day, ever. And so today I woke up and I thought to myself,
Oh boy.
oh man, I looked in the mirror and I had like raccoon eyes. My eyes were barely open. The allergies in Oklahoma get me, and so I thought, you know what, I'm going to do this. So I grabbed a bottle of Dayquil.
And then another one.
No, I'm here at the bottom of this bottle of Dayquil, and I'm looking at this warning label, and I'm looking at it, and I'm going, well, if pregnant or breastfeeding, ask a health professional. I'm like, well,
No.
You're good there. You're good there.
good there. But then it says like, don't consume more than, and I'm like,
Ooh.
oh, well, that's probably not the.
Yeah. Holy cow.
Anyway, so one is nothing works unless you do, and two, don't drink too much Dayquil. But Thrive Nation, here I am with after having consumed much Dayquil, here to perform a show. You shouldn't operate large machinery after you've had too much Dayquil, but
luckily
you can
a mixer
still
board
do a podcast and a mixer board.
You're good to go.
But Clay Stairs, I want to ask you this because we're interviewing Alex, a thriver from San Francisco. He's an owner of an OxyFresh franchise. And Matt Klein, one of the members of the OxyFresh team, who actually awards franchises. So Matt works for corporate, and Alex is a franchisee.
Yeah.
And Matt is about ready to brag on Alex here as we get back into the interview, and bragging about the consistency and the diligence and the level of effort he brings into the business. You understand, he bought the business while still being a full-time firefighter.
Wow.
And the work ethic needed to be a firefighter and a business owner. Can you talk to me about the grind of your successful clients, the mindset of your clients that have achieved big success, Clay? I mean, what kind of mindset does somebody have to achieve big success as an entrepreneur?
Yeah, well, it makes me think of Big Dan Knapp with with affordable insulation. He has done a fantastic job, Clay, of really pulling out of the worker mindset, that technician mindset. I've been so proud of him over the past 4 months at how he has made a complete shift in the way that he is tracking everything. He comes in, he has done his homework assignments, he's taken the steps down the path, and he is doing what needs to be done to be an entrepreneur, not just an insulation guy.
Chop.
Another mindset that I see is you've got to have that burn the boats mentality. JLD was talking about it earlier about finding your big idea and going all in. He said that's the common trait he's noticed doing over 2,000 interviews with entrepreneurs. They find their big idea and they commit to it all in. They're not just dipping a toe in. The cavalry's not coming to save you. You've got to burn the boats and go all in.
Bingo.
Without any further ado, back to our interview with Alex, the successful OxyFresh franchisee based in San Francisco, and Matt Klein with OxyFresh.
And what Alex does is he makes sure that he doesn't pout about things that maybe don't go right that day. I mean, the reason that he's on our advisory board is because he's a spark in our franchise. He'll tell someone right to their face, hey, don't buy this business if you're lazy. And it's plain and simple, because you can't be a full-time firefighter and own this business if you're lazy. You can't be a full-time firefighter at all if you're lazy. So, those sorts of things. What are you going to do when you get out of bed? Are you going to make your business better that day or worse? And Alex absolutely pushes the ball forward. He's one of our front runners in terms of getting commercial clients. Commercial clients just don't roll into your business. That is done from relationship building, understanding the value that you give to your clients over the competition, and being able to be persistent, right? And he's been able to do that at a very high level, with a lot less time than most people have in their day. And I always say it like this: why would one person be more successful than
two men, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses, 8 kids, 1 business coach radio show? It's the Thrive Time Business Coach Radio Show with Dr. Zellner and Clay Clark.
We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here.
All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back to the conversation. It is the Thrive Time Show on your radio. And on today's show, Eric Chubb, Mr. Business Coach, we're going to be interviewing the renowned podcaster John Lee Dumas.
EOF, baby. Entrepreneurs on Fire.
Let me give you some fun stats. During the month of June, the Entrepreneurs on Fire podcast it reported a gross income of $165,000, gross expenses of $31,000 and a net profit of $134,285.
He should call that a profcast because he's just making green.
Check this out. Let me give you a little background into the life and times of John Lee Dumas. Upon leaving the U.S. Army, he enrolled at Roger Williams University School of Law in Bristol, Rhode Island, where he then dropped out after only one semester. Dumas then took a job working in corporate finance for John Hancock in Boston. He then went to New York City to work for a technology startup before leaving to move to San Diego in 2009. In 2011, he moved to Maine to start. Seems like a lot of moving. In 2011, he moved back to Maine to start a career in commercial real estate. While getting started in his new career, he found himself listening to podcasts while driving around, and he noticed that none of his favorite podcasts provided content daily, and that's when he had his epiphany. Thrive Nation, when did you have your epiphany? When did you have your aha moment? This guy had his aha moment while driving around. He believed that if he could develop a daily podcast focused on interviewing successful entrepreneurs, then it would resonate with his target audience of entrepreneurs. So he came up with the name Entrepreneurs on Fire and decided to call it EO Fire for short. Daily, he continued to grind after launching in September 22nd of 2012. As a result of his passionate delivery, JLD has got to the top of the iTunes charts. He's been the top downloaded podcast. The guy's had millions of people downloading his podcast. He's interviewed Seth Godin. He's interviewed Gary Vaynerchuk. He's interviewed Tony Robbins. He's been downloaded in over 140 countries. And now, without any further ado, our exclusive interview with JLD, the founder of the Entrepreneurs on Fire podcast.
For over 6 years, over 2,000 episodes, over 70 million downloads to date now. I continue to get consistent feedback from people who enjoy the show, who get value from people like yourself, Clay, that have been past guests. And that just kind of keeps me going. That keeps my motivation high.
I think your story is so powerful because many people have the idea, hey, I'll do a 5-day-a-week podcast. I'll do a 7-day-a-week podcast. But you actually did it. And if I can, I'd like to go back to that place in your mind where you were recording 7 days a week and you had one subscriber. And it was probably your mom or your neighbor or maybe yourself. And then you had 2 subscribers and then 3. Talk to me about what that felt like internally when you had so few subscribers those first few months. Because I think there's a lot of people that start a podcast and stop, or start a business and stop. Talk to me about how you fought that internal desire that most people have to quit.
Well, it felt like I was speaking to an empty room. It felt like I was putting in all this time, energy, and effort, and then putting it out into a void that nobody was consuming. And it was quite discouraging. And, for me, I just had to keep saying, listen, like, you're doing this for a reason. You're creating this show because you wanted it to exist, and you know that other people do as well. And so for me, I was just looking at each interview that I would have with Gary Vaynerchuk, with Tim Ferriss, with Seth Godin. Like, yes, I may not have a huge listenership, but look at the relationships that I'm building. Look at the connections that I'm making. Look at this one-on-one conversation that I just had with Tony Robbins. I mean, this is an amazing and cool and just very unique opportunity that I have, because now I have a quote-unquote show. I'm able to get people to commit 15, 20, 30 minutes of their day to have a conversation with me, whereas before they just couldn't do that with just any Tom, Dick, or Harry because they're busy people. So I just continue to look for the bright side of things and saying, you know what, even though my listenership isn't massive, even though my subscribership isn't through the roof, as long as I'm seeing a steady increase, and as long as I know I'm getting value personally from these great conversations, I'm just going to keep the nose to the grindstone. I'm going to keep it happen. I'm going to keep making it happen. And you mentioned Seth Godin as one of my past guests. I read his book, The Dip, multiple times during that time frame, and I realized that this is what businesses go through. They go through this dip until they hit this inflection point where the momentum starts. And the beautiful thing about momentum is once it starts, it's really hard to stop.
I've heard you say that you wanted to create time freedom. That you wanted to create freedom. That was a big vision you had, was to create freedom for yourself with the Entrepreneurs on Fire podcast. What does freedom mean to you? Now that you have the momentum and you have the subscribers and the audience and the platform, what does freedom mean to you? What does it look like to you as you're broadcasting from Puerto Rico?
Well, that will bring up one of my definitions of freedom, which is location independence. I love freedom because to me it means that I can be where I want to be. Time independence is huge for me. That's a huge thing about freedom, is that I can work when I want to work, how hard I want to work, and just overall lifestyle freedom. Like, to me, that is freedom. Like, knowing for a fact that when I woke up this morning, Clay, everything on my calendar was put there by me. I wanted to have this conversation with you, and I'm glad that we're having it. And everything else that's on my calendar is there because I put it there, not because it was handed down as a task or my boss said do this or do that. But to me, freedom is the ability to choose what I do, where I do it, and how I want to do it.
Now, why did you and Kate decide to move to Puerto Rico? I think a lot of our listeners are not familiar with you and the Entrepreneurs on Fire podcast, and I certainly want to introduce them to your podcast. And many people are familiar with your podcast, but you guys were very intentional about moving to Puerto Rico, and you could have moved anywhere. I mean, you guys were based previously in San Diego, if I'm correct. What made you want to move to Puerto Rico? When did you decide to move to Puerto Rico? Talk to me about the Puerto Rico move.
So we decided to move back in 2016. So we've been here for over 2 years now, which has been great. And I'll answer your question first with the short answer and then with a little bit of a longer answer. Okay. So the short answer is taxes. We moved to Puerto Rico because of taxes. And the longer answer to that is we lived in San Diego. We loved living in San Diego. It's just beautiful. It's meant for entrepreneurs, specifically location and lifestyle independent entrepreneurs. It attracts them. We had great friends. We had a great place. We loved it all. But we didn't love giving half of our money every single year to either the federal or state government. But, there was just nothing you can do about it. Everybody's going to pay taxes, death and taxes, so be it. But then my CPA brought me the opportunity of this lovely little Caribbean island that's actually an American territory called Puerto Rico, which I've actually had visited before, and I knew it was lovely. And he said, listen, Puerto Rico has this opportunity called Act 20. It's been going on since 2012. And if you move your business to Puerto Rico and you live in Puerto Rico for at least 183 days of the year and you make it your primary residence, meaning that you have a closer connection to Puerto Rico than anywhere else in the world, you pay a flat 4% corporate tax rate. No federal.
Oh, yes.
No state.
Oh.
4%. I went from paying 51% to 4%. I gave myself a 47% raise by moving to Puerto Rico, and it's been a financial game changer.
So moving to Puerto Rico, Thrive Nation, think about that. You could reduce your taxes. Now, for the Thrivers out there, like myself, I own businesses in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and in Dallas and different cities. And I don't know if anyone's ever been to Oklahoma, but it's called the center of the universe, and I think we hype it up because really there's not a lot to see. Can you walk us through what it looks like or feels like to live in a tropical paradise? Just give us a glimpse into what a typical day looks like for you now that you live and work in a tropical paradise of Puerto Rico.
So I wake up at what I call civil twilight, which is when the sun is still 6 degrees below the horizon. So it's very light out, and civil twilight just basically means that planes can legally fly without lights at that point. So I wake up at civil twilight, I go down and I kind of begin my morning workout by my pool, which is a beautiful infinity pool that actually also overlooks the Caribbean Ocean. It's pretty epic. And I kind of watch the sunrise as that happens, like over the Caribbean, because we face east. So a super cool sunrise out of the ocean. It's a great way to start the morning. It's very warm and humid this time of year for sure, even in the morning, which is totally fine for most of the workday because, I am working inside in my office and sleeping at night in a very climate-controlled, air-conditioned room. So no worries with that. But, being outside, you definitely get the heat, definitely get the humidity. And so I crush my workout in the morning, get some nice morning sun laying by my pool, reading a good book, typically on business to kind of get my mind rolling. Then I journal, do some meditation down there. And then I'm coming up and I'm kind of getting into my workday at that point. And then I'm sitting in, my cool air conditioned office. And every time I got to step outside for anything, I'm probably sweating pretty quickly after that because the humidity can get into the 90s this time of the year for sure. Typically, we have a nice afternoon, just absolute torrential downpour, meaning that for 15 minutes, a cloud passes over us and just, pours water, but then it's gone, and then it's a sunny day again, and you almost, if you blink, you almost miss it. Of course, that changes a little bit during the rainy season, which is coming up in September, October, November. But for this time, we pretty much get one solid shower a day. And then in the evening, it's just perfect weather out. I think that's the glory time for me. And that's when Kate and I love to go for a walk in our community and just kind of take in the fresh breeze. What I love about our place here in Puerto Rico is we live on the southeastern part of the island. So the wind that hits us has been traveling thousands of miles over the Atlantic Ocean from Africa. So it's the cleanest, crispest air. It's been over the ocean for over 1,000 miles. So it's just a really cool experience down here. We were just actually in Colorado hanging out at 12,200 feet at the base camp of one of those 14,000 footers. And just the difference in the humidity from there to here is just incredible. And you grow to love it.
You have talked a lot about loving the grind, which allows you to go to places like Colorado and live in Puerto Rico and to do the things you do. But you've talked a lot about loving the grind, and I know we have a limited time, but can you share with the listeners your grind from starting the EOF podcast to where you are now? What was the toughest part of that grind for you?
The toughest part of that grind for me was getting over the imposter syndrome, getting over the fear that I had of who am I to start a podcast. I was an officer in the U.S. Army, then I was in corporate finance and commercial real estate, and I went to law school. I had no experience in broadcasting or interviewing people, and that was a grind. That was tough for me to get up and actually get over my fear and my doubts.
Steve Currington with Total Ending Concepts. Did you ever have any fear when you first became a mortgage broker? Banker?
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, when I got in the business, I came right off of one of the biggest failures I ever had in my life. So, obviously you don't want to be there again. So, I mean, that's the biggest fear. I think that's what drives a lot of people, though, is when you've been there, you don't want to get back there. And so that kind of fear sometimes can drive you to not fail again or to not fail as bad.
One of the big fears I have, Chuff, is on spending too much time and money on my office supplies.
Oh, yeah.
But you pulled me aside and you said, Clay, you don't have to fear. I have a solution for you. What's the solution, Chuff?
Solution is onyximaging.com. Order your office and printer supplies and get a free printer copier from these guys. Check them out at onyximaging.com for your free printer copier. All you got to do is order office and printer supplies. onyximaging.com.
Make sure you never miss a broadcast by signing up for the Thrive Time Show podcast. And back to a show that's cooler than the other side of the pillow. It's the Thrive Time Business Coach Show.
Here's the welcome to Thrive Time with Dr. Z and Clay Clark too. They can tell you all of the rules. When passion is a profit, you can grow till you drop. Instead of hoping, wishing, thinking when it'll stop. Time to face the rise and grind. We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here.
All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back to the Thrive Time Show on your radio and podcast download. On today's show, we're interviewing arguably the number one podcaster of all time. Let me just give you an example. During the month of June, Thrive Nation, I want you to ask yourself, how much money did you make? After taxes, after you paid all the taxes, after the bills, after the expenses, how much money? Okay. How much money did you make before taxes? Well, this guest, John Lee Dumas, he started a podcast called Entrepreneurs on Fire about 6 years ago, almost 7 years ago. And he started with nothing. He decided to grind every single day. Could you imagine what it would be like to start a podcast with no experience in broadcasting, no audience, so to speak, and just to grind every single day? Grinding, creating content, researching, grinding, interviewing guests. Hello, is this thing on?
Finding guests.
Is this on? Finding guests, reaching out to guests, being rejected by guests,
over and over.
Over and over. Then you finally get some traction and a little more traction. Next thing you know, you're the #1 podcast on the planet. But that took 6 years or 7 years. Well, John Lee Dumas, the host of Entrepreneurs on Fire, Chup, he just reported in June of 2018.
Let's hear it.
Gross income of $165,000.
Awesome.
And after expenses, a profit of $134,285.
Come on.
And I'll tell you why. Because he's been consistent. He's consistently reached out to big names. He's interviewed Seth Godin, Gary Vaynerchuk, and Tony Robbins. But he's going to tell us a little bit about overcoming fear. And Chup, you've worked with a lot of entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Why is overcoming fear such an important topic? How to overcome fear. Why is that such an important topic?
I think it's beat into us in our culture to not stick out, to not be that person that's super proud. And when you're a business owner and you're doing a good job, you need to be proud because that's who you are and that's how you feed your family. So you got to be proud and then be proud of the work that you do. So you just have to kind of step out of that comfort zone and get used to being a proud person.
So Thrive Nation, without any further ado, our exclusive interview with JLD, the founder of Entrepreneurs on Fire, an incredible podcast. He once interviewed me, and I wanted to return the favor. So here we go. You know, you have talked a lot about loving the grind, which allows you to go to places like Colorado and live in Puerto Rico and to do the things you do. But you've talked a lot about loving the grind, and I know we have a limited time, but can you share with the listeners your grind from starting the EOF podcast to where you are now? What was the toughest part of that grind for you?
The toughest part of that grind for me was getting over the imposter syndrome, getting over the fear that I had of who am I to start a podcast? You know, I was an officer in the U.S. Army, then I was in corporate finance and commercial real estate, and I went to law school. Like, I had no experience in broadcasting or interviewing people, and that was a grind. You know, that was tough for me to get up and actually get over my fear and my doubts and my second guessing of myself to actually do it. But then, you know, I continue to educate myself every single day and reading quotes and biographies and going down that path and just recognizing over and over again that everybody who's achieved something amazing in this world has achieved it by doing that thing. Meaning Andre Agassi became great at tennis because he played tennis. You know, fill in the blank podcaster became great at podcasting because guess what? They podcasted. And nobody starts good, you know, at something. We all start usually pretty darn bad. But if you're just willing to put in the time, put in the grind, put in the effort, and that's why I loved doing the daily show, was because I was so bad at first. And then after 100 episodes, I was kind of bad. And then after 500, I was kind of okay. Then after 1,000, I was getting good. And after 2,000, I'm getting even better. And it's just one of those things where I'm getting up and I'm putting in the effort and I'm putting in the grind, getting just a little bit better every day, which is why one of the biggest, or I should say one of the most recommended books by me to others is The Slight Edge by Jeffrey Olson. Because if you are just getting a tiny bit, 1% better every single day in something, that adds up to massive exponential results over the long term. But a lot of people are just so short-term thinking, they don't see the fact that eating healthy for a month, you know, it's not having a huge impact on their waistline. Well, guess what? Sometimes it takes a year of clean eating and doing the right thing. And that's just the reality. But that can have a massive exponential result by doing the right things every single day, by grinding every single day.
I'm glad you mentioned the Slight Edge because it's kind of funny. I read that book for the first time while I was getting prepared for a DJ show. I had the largest wedding entertainment company in the country. We're doing 4,000 weddings a year, and I'm reading Slight Edge before the show because I wanted to make every show better than the previous show. And someone said, "Oh, you need to read that book. You need, you know, because it's all about mastery." And so I want to ask you, as you are now to a level of excellence that very few people ever achieve, what does the vision look like for you? Where are we going to see Entrepreneurs on Fire take you and your family? Where are you going to steer this ship in the next 24 months, next 3 years? Where do you see it going? What's your vision for the Fire Nation, as you call them?
What I love about the situation that I've been able to attain right now with Entrepreneurs on Fire is one of, you know, incredible financial stability, great brand recognition, you know, personal authority and influence. And so it's given me this really cool opportunity to jump on new and next opportunities. So do I honestly know what that next opportunity is? No. But I know that if it clicks with me and it excites me, that I can really go all in financially, time-wise, bandwidth, and make it happen. Hey guys, Luke Erickson here with the Thrive Time Show. As you can see behind me, we've got all kinds of energy going on. People are starting to show up for the conference, and it is hot in this place. We got grill guns over here. We've got people playing the drums. We've got a fire breather, and man, people are so excited as they come in. Gentlemen, let me introduce you to the grill gun.
Hi, I'm Bob Healy. I'm the inventor of the grill gun and the sous vide gun.
Tim Tebow is coming to Tulsa, Oklahoma, June 27th and 28th. We've been doing business conferences here since 2005. I've been hosting business conferences since 2005. And a lot of people, have followed Tim Tebow's football career on the field and off the field. And off the field, the guy's been just as successful as he has been on the field. Now, the big question is, JT, how does he do it?
Well, they're going to have to come and find out because I don't know.
Well, I'm just saying, Tim Tebow's going to teach us how he organizes his day, how he organizes his life, how he's proactive with his faith, his family, his finances. He's going to walk us through his mindset that he brings into the gym, into business. It is going to be a blasty blast in Tulsa, Jerusalem. Also, this is the first Thrive Time Show event that we've had where we're going to have a man who has built a $100 million net worth.
Wow.
Who'll be presenting. Now, we've had a couple presenters that have had $1 billion net worth in some like real estate sort of things.
Yeah.
But this is the first time we've had a guy who's built a service business, and he's built over $100 million net worth in the service business. It's the yacht driving, multi-state living guru of franchising. Peter Taunton will be in the house. This is the founder of Snap Fitness, the guy behind 9 Round Boxing. He's going to be here in Tulsa, Jerusalem, Oklahoma, June 27th and 28th. JT, why should everybody want to hear what Peter Taunton has to say?
Oh, because he's incredible. He's just a fountain of knowledge. He is awesome. He has inspired me listening to him talk. And not only that, he also has, he practices what he teaches. So he's a real teacher. He's not a fake teacher like business school teachers. So you got to come learn from him.
And now the best-selling author of The Carnivore Diet and the multiple-time Joe Rogan guest, Dr. Sean Baker, joins our 2-day interactive business growth and life optimization workshop. Also, let me tell you this, folks. I don't want to get this wrong because if I get it wrong, someone's going to say, you screwed that up, buddy. So Michael Levine, this is Michael Levine. He's going to be coming. You say, who's Michael Levine? I don't want to get this wrong. This is the PR consultant of choice for Michael Jackson, for Prince, for Nike, for Charlton Heston, for Nancy Kerrigan, 34 Grammy Award winners, 43 New York Times bestselling authors he's represented, including pretty much everybody you know who's been a super celebrity. This is Michael Levine, a good friend of mine. He's going to come and talk to you about personal branding and the mindset needed to be super successful. The lineup will continue to grow. We have hit Christian recording artist Colton Dixon in the house. Now, people say, Colton Dixon's in the house? Yes, Colton Dixon's in the house. So if you like top 40 Christian music, Colton Dixon's going to be in the house performing. The lineup will continue to grow each and every day. We're going to add more and more speakers to this all-star lineup. But I encourage everybody out there today, get those tickets today. Go to thrivetimeshow.com. Again, that's thrivetimeshow.com. And some people might be saying, well, how do I do it? What do I do? How does it work? You just go to thrivetimeshow.com. Let's go there now. We're feeling the flow. We're going to thrivetimeshow.com. Again, you just go to thrivetimeshow.com. You click on the business conferences button, and you click on the request tickets button right there. The way I do our conferences is we tell people it's $250 to get a ticket.
Yep.
Or whatever price that you can afford. And the reason why I do that is I grew up without money. JT, you're in the process of building a super successful company. Did you start out with $1 million in the bank account?
No, I did not. Nope, did not get any loans, nothing like that. Did not get an inheritance from parents or anything like that. I had to work for it, and I'm super grateful. I came to a business conference. That's actually how I met you, met Peter Taunton. I met all these people.
So if you're out there today and you want to come to our workshop, again, you just got to go to thrivetimeshow.com. You might say, well, when's it going to be? June 27th and 28th. You might say, well, who's speaking? We already covered that. You might say, where's it going to be? It's going to be in Tulsa, Jerusalem, Oklahoma. And so it says Tulsa, Jerusalem. I'm really trying to rebrand Tulsa as Tulsa Jerusalem, sort of like the Jerusalem of America. But if you type in Thrive Time Show and Jinx, you can get a sneak peek or a look at our office facility. This is what it looks like. This is where you're headed. It's going to be a blasty blast. You can look inside, see the facility. We're going to have hundreds of entrepreneurs here. It is going to be packed. Now, for this particular event, folks, the seating is always limited because my facility isn't a limitless convention center. You're coming to my actual home office, and so it's going to be packed. So when June 27th and 28th, you're going to come. I'm talking to you. You can just get your tickets right now at thrivetimeshow.com. And again, you can name your price. We tell people it's $250 or whatever price you can afford. And we do have some select VIP tickets, which gives you an access to meet some of the speakers and those sorts of things. And those tickets are $500. It's a 2-day interactive business workshop, over 20 hours of business training. We're going to give you a copy of my newest book, The Millionaire's Guide to Becoming Sustainably Rich. You're going to leave with a workbook. You're going to leave with everything you need to know to start and grow a super successful company. It's practical, it's actionable, and it's Tebow time right here in Tulsa, Jerusalem. Get those tickets today at thrivetimeshow.com. Again, that's thrivetimeshow.com.
Hello, I'm Michael Levine, and I'm talking to you right now from the center of Hollywood, California, where I have represented over the last 35 years 58 Academy Award winners, 34 Grammy Award winners, 43 New York Times bestsellers. I've represented a lot of major stars, and I've worked with a lot of major companies. And I think I've learned a few things about what makes them work and what makes them not work. Now, why would a man living in Hollywood, California, in the beautiful sunny weather of LA, come to Tulsa? Because last year I did it, and it was damn exciting. Clay Clark has put together an exceptional presentation, really life-changing, and I'm looking forward to seeing you then. I'm Michael Levine. I'll see you in Tulsa.
James, did I tell you my good friend John Lee Dumas is also joining us at the in-person 2-day interactive Thrive Time Show Business Workshop? That Tim Tebow and that Michael Levine will be at. Have I told you this?
You have not told me that.
Oh, he's coming all the way from Puerto Rico. This is John Lee Dumas, the host of the chart-topping EOFire.com podcast. He's absolutely a living legend. This guy started a podcast after wrapping up his service in the United States military, and he started recording this podcast daily in his home, to the point where he started interviewing big-time folks like Gary Vaynerchuk, like Tony Robbins, and he just kept interviewing bigger and bigger names, putting out shows day after day. And now he is the legendary host of the EO Fire podcast, and he's traveling all the way from Puerto Rico to Tulsa, Oklahoma to attend the in-person June 27th and 28th Thrive Time Show 2-day interactive business workshop. If you're out there today, folks, you've ever wanted to grow a podcast, a broadcast, you want to improve your marketing, if you've ever wanted to improve your marketing, your branding, if you've ever wanted to increase your sales, you want to come to the 2-day interactive June 27th and 28th Thrive Time Show Business Workshop featuring Tim Tebow, Michael Levine, John Lee Dumas, and countless big-time super successful entrepreneurs. It's going to be life-changing. Get your tickets right now at thrivetimeshow.com. James, what website is that?
thrivetimeshow.com.
James, one more time before enthusiasm.
thrivetimeshow.com.
Everything rides on tonight. Even if I got 3 strikes, I'ma go for it. This moment, we own it. I'm not to be played with because it could get dangerous. See these people I ride with. This moment, we own it.
Thrive Time Show 2-day interactive business workshops are the world's highest rated and most reviewed business workshops because we teach you what you need to know to grow.
You can learn the proven 13-point business systems that Dr. Zellner and I have used over and over to start and grow successful companies. I mean, we get into the specific steps on what you need to do to optimize your website. We're going to teach you how to fix your conversion rate. We're going to teach you how to do a social media marketing campaign that works. How do you raise capital? How do you get a small business loan? We teach you everything you need to know here during a 2-day, 15-hour workshop. It's all here for you. You work every day in your business, but for 2 days you can escape and work on your business and build these proven systems so now you can have a successful company that will produce both the time freedom and the financial freedom that you deserve. You're going to leave energized, motivated, but you're also going to leave empowered. The reason why I've built these workshops is because as an entrepreneur, I always wish that I had this. And because there wasn't anything like this, I would go to these motivational seminars, no money down, real estate, Ponzi scheme, get motivated seminars, and they would never teach me anything. It was like you went there and you paid for the big chocolate Easter bunny, but inside of it, it was a hollow nothingness. And I wanted the knowledge, and they're like, oh, but we'll teach you the knowledge after our next workshop. And the great thing is we have nothing to upsell. At every workshop, we teach you what you need to know. There's no one in the back of the room trying to sell you some next big get-rich-quick, walk-on-hot-coals product. It's literally, we teach you the brass tacks, the specific stuff that you need to know to learn how to start and grow a business. And I encourage you to not believe what I'm saying, and I want you to Google the Z66 auto auction. I want you to Google elephant in the room. Look at Robert Zellner and Associates. Look them up and say, are they successful because they're geniuses, or are they successful because they have a proven system? When you do that research, you will discover that the same systems that we use in our own business can be used in your business. Come to Tulsa, book a ticket, and I guarantee you it's going to be the best business workshop ever, and we'll even give you your money back if you don't love it. We've built this facility for you, and we're excited to see you.
And now you may be thinking, what does it actually cost to attend an in-person 2-day interactive Thrive Time Show business workshop? Well, good news. The tickets are $250 or whatever price that you can afford. What? Yes, they're $250 or whatever price you can afford. I grew up without money, and I know what it's like to live without money. So if you're out there today and you want to attend our in-person 2-day interactive business workshop, all you got to do is go to thrivetimeshow.com to request those tickets. And if you can't afford $250, we have scholarship pricing available to make it affordable for you.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York. Acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say. Whoa.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Robert Kiyosaki, the Rich Dad Radio Show. Today I'm broadcasting from Phoenix, Arizona, not Scottsdale, Arizona. They're close, but they're completely different worlds. And we have a special guest today. Definition of intelligence is if you agree with me, you're intelligent. And so this gentleman is very intelligent. I've done his show before also, but very seldom do you find somebody who lines up on all counts. And it's a Mr. Clay Clark. He's a friend of a good friend, Eric Trump. But we're also talking about money, bricks, and how screwed up the world can get in a few and a half hour. So Clay Clark is a very intelligent man, and there's so many ways we could take this thing. But I thought, since you and Eric are close, Trump, what were you saying about what Trump can't, what Donald, who's my age, and I can say or cannot say?
First of all, I have to honor you, sir. I want to show you what I did to one of your books here. There's a guy by the name of Jeremy Thorne, who was my boss at the time. I was 19 years old, working at Faith Highway. I had a job at Applebee's, Target, and DirecTV. And he said, have you read this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad? And I said, no. And my father, may he rest in peace, he didn't know these financial principles. So I started reading all of your books and really devouring your books. And I went from being an employee to self-employed to the business owner to the investor. And I owe a lot of that to you. And I just wanted to take a moment to tell you thank you so much for allowing me to achieve success. And then I'll tell you all about Eric Trump. But I just want to tell you thank you, sir, for changing my life.
But not only that, Clay, thank you, but you become an influencer. More than anything else, you've evolved into an influencer where your word has more and more power. So that's why I congratulate you on becoming. Because as you know, there's a lot of fake influencers out there too, or bad influencers.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm glad you and I agree so much, and thanks for reading my books.
Yeah.
That's the greatest thrill for me today. Not a thrill, but recognition is when people, young men especially, come up and say, I read your book, changed my life. I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York. Acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say. Whoa.
Hey, I'm Ryan Wimpy. I'm originally from Tulsa, born and raised here. I went to a small private liberal arts college and got a degree in business. And I didn't learn anything like they're teaching here. I didn't learn linear workflows. I learned stuff that I'm not using and I haven't been using for the last 9 years. So what they're teaching here is actually way better than what I got at business school. And I went what was actually ranked as a very good business school. The linear workflow for us in getting everything out on paper and documented is really important. Like we have workflows that are kind of all over the place, so having linear workflow and seeing that mapped out on multiple different boards is pretty awesome. That's really helpful for me. The atmosphere here is awesome. I definitely just stared at the walls, figuring out how to make my facility look like this place. This place rocks. It's invigorating. The walls are super, it's just very cool. The atmosphere is cool. The people are nice. It's a pretty cool place to be. Very good learning atmosphere. I literally want to model it and steal everything that's here at this facility and basically create it just on our business side.
Once I saw what they were doing, I knew I had to get here at the conference. This is probably the best conference or seminar I've ever been to in over 30 years in business.
You're not bored. You're awake, alive the whole time. It's not pushy. They don't try to sell you a bunch of things.
I was looking to learn how to just get control of my life, my schedule, and just get control of the business.
Planning your time, breaking it all down, making time for the F6 in your life, and just really implementing it and sticking with the program.
It's really lively. They're pretty friendly, helpful, very welcoming.
I attended a conference a couple months back, and it was really the best business conference I've ever attended.
At the workshop, I learned a lot about time management, really prioritizing what's the most important.
Biggest takeaways are, you want to take a step-by-step approach to your business. Whether it's marketing, what are those 3 marketing tools that you want to use, to human resources.
Some of the most successful people and successful businesses in this town, their owners were here today because they wanted to know more from Clay, and I found that to be kind of fascinating.
The most valuable thing that I've learned is diligence, that businesses don't change overnight. It takes time and effort, and you got to go through the ups and downs of getting it to where you want to go.
He actually gives you the roadmap out. I was stuck, didn't know what to do, and he gave me the roadmap out step by step.
We've set up systems in the business that make my life much easier, allow me some time freedom.
Here you can ask any question you want. They guarantee it'll be answered.
This conference motivates me and also give me a lot of knowledge and tools.
It's up to you to do it. Everybody can do these things. They're stuff that everybody knows, but if you don't do it, nobody else can do it for you.
I can see the marketing working, and it's just an approach that makes sense.
Probably the most notable thing is just the income increase that we've had.
Everyone's super fun, it's super motivating. I've been here before, but I'm back again because it motivates me.
Your competition's going to come eventually, or try to pick up these tactics. So you better, if you don't, somebody else will.
I'm Rachel with Tip Top Canine, and we just want to give a huge thank you to Clay and Vanessa Clark.
Hey guys, I'm Ryan with Tip Top Canine. Just want to say a big thank you to Thrive 15. Thank you to Make Your Life Epic. We love you guys, we appreciate you, and really just appreciate how far you've taken us.
This is our old house. Okay, this is where we used to live a few years ago. This is our old neighborhood. See? It's nice, right?
So this is my old van and our old school marketing, and this is our old team. And by team, I mean it's me and another guy.
This is our new house with our new neighborhood. This is our new van with our new marketing, and this is our new team. We went from 4 to 14, and I took this beautiful photo. We worked with several different business coaches in the past, and they were all about helping Ryan sell better and just teaching sales, which is awesome, but Ryan is a really great salesman. So we didn't need that. We needed somebody to help us get everything that was in his head out into systems, into manuals and scripts, and actually build a team. So now that we have systems in place, we've gone from 1 to 10 locations in only a year.
In October 2016, we grossed 13 grand for the whole month. Right now it's 2018, the month of October. It's only the 22nd. We've already grossed a little over 50 grand for the whole month, and we still have time to go. We're just thankful for you, thankful for Thrive and your mentorship, and we're really thankful that You guys have helped us to grow a business that we run now instead of the business running us. Just thank you times 1,000.
So we really just want to thank you, Clay, and thank you, Vanessa, for everything you've done, everything you've helped us with. We love you guys.
If you decide to not attend the Thrive Time workshop, you're missing out on a great opportunity.
The atmosphere of Clay's office is very lively. You can feel the energy as soon as you walk through the door, and it really got me and my team very excited.
If you decide not to come, you're missing out on an opportunity to grow your business. Bottom line.
Love the environment. I love the way that Clay presents and teaches. It's a way that not only allows me to comprehend what's going on, but he explains it in a way to where it just makes sense.
The SEO optimization, branding, marketing. I've learned more in the last 2 days than I have the entire 4 years of college.
The most valuable thing that I've learned, marketing is key. Marketing is everything.
Making sure that you're branded accurately and clearly. How to grow a business using Google reviews, and then just how to optimize our name through our website also.
Helpful with a lot of marketing, search engine optimization, helping us really rank high in Google.
The biggest thing I needed to learn was how to build my foundation, how to systemize everything and optimize everything, build my SEO.
How to become more organized, more efficient.
How to make sure the business is really there to serve me as opposed to me constantly being there for the business.
New ways of advertising my business as well as recruiting new employees.
Group interviews, number one. Before we felt like we were held hostage by our employees. Group interviews has completely eliminated that because you're able to really find the people that would really be the best fit.
Hands-on how to hire people, how to deal with human resources, a lot about marketing, and overall just how to structure the business, how it works for me, and also then how that can translate into working better for my clients.
The most valuable thing I've learned here is time management.
I like the 1 hour of doing your business is real critical if I'm going to grow and change.
Clay really teaches you how to navigate through those things and not only find freedom, but find your purpose in your business and find the purposes for all those other people that directly affect your business as well.
Everybody.
Everyone needs to attend the conference because you get an opportunity to see that it's real.
Hey, Flyover family, come join us June the 27th and 28th, 2024 in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We're going to be there with Clay Clark and an amazing group of individuals that have made such a difference in so many people's lives.
Do you want to increase your production in a job? Do you want to make more sales? Do you want to own your own business? Do you want to have breakthroughs financially? The key to that is knowledge.
Clay Clark is anointed to help people in business. We've watched him over the last couple of years and we've been blown away. He's part owner of over 160 businesses, $2.4 billion in sales.
So before politics and the Great Reset came into Clay's life, he had the #1 rated Apple podcast. And he interviewed people like Anthony Robbins, Seth Godin, the top authors, the top business minds in the world. At this specific event, there was an interesting cast of characters that come from gangs to American Idol.
Some of the guests that are going to be there: Michael Levine, Colton Dixon, Peter Taunton, John Lee Dumas, Mondo de la Viga,
and Tim Tebow. They're there to share what they've done and their breakthroughs and what their story is. And then Clay lays his map of business success, calls the path for every person to follow.
So you may be sitting there thinking, okay, I get it. What do I have to do? Go to thrivetimeshow.com. When you get there, the tickets are $250 or whatever you can afford. Yes, you got that right. $250 or whatever you can afford. You can name your price. So there are no excuses. You have to join us there. There are only a few VIP tickets left, like David said, special dinner and special time with the speakers. That is $500 while they last. So $500, only a few left if you want a VIP ticket. We want to meet these speakers as well, so we got VIP tickets.
I want to meet Tim Tebow.
I do too. The date is June the 27th and 28th, 2024 in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Go to thrivetimeshow.com to get your tickets.
Hey guys, Luke Erickson here with the Thrive Time Show. As you can see behind me, we've got all kinds of energy going on. People are starting to show up for the conference, and it is hot in this place. We got grill guns over here. We've got people playing the drums. We've got a fire breather, and man, people are so excited as they come in.
The conference is kicked off. This house is packed. We've got Aaron Hansis with Shaw Homes up there. We've got Steve Currington with Total Lending Concepts up there talking about what is possible when you just implement, when you do the proven system. It's so exciting. People are going crazy. Now, Michael Levine, writer of many, many PR books, the man who represented people like Michael Jackson, Barbara Streisand, and George Bush. He's speaking to the people here at our conference, talking about branding. One of the greatest branding experts alive today is here at our conference, talking to entrepreneurs. We just wrapped up day one. It was incredible. We had some remarkable speakers. Michael Levine. We just finished with a lady named Jill Donovan, who owns a company called Rustic Cuff, talking about the power of the Dream 100. I cannot wait to see what tomorrow holds. Hey guys, Luke Erickson with the Thrive Time Show here with you. It is day 2 and the energy is high. People are so excited to be showing up. The team is ready. Come on, let's see what it's like to go on in for day 2. Follow me. Tell you what, people are so excited to be here for day 2. It is going to be incredible. Cannot wait to see what today has in store. Right now, here at the conference, we've broken into groups going over search engine optimization. And I know for most of us, myself included, if you hear that term, you go, what is that? What does that mean? That's too techie for me. Well, our experts are breaking it down for people so that you can clearly understand how to come up top in Google. It's doable. It's possible. Now we're in the middle of a break, and what we like to do is we like to give you as much tangible and relevant information from about the start of the hour for 45 minutes. Then we take approximately a 15-minute break to allow people to connect with other entrepreneurs around them, bathroom breaks, and also use this time to just really digest all of the good information that you're receiving the whole time. Right behind me, we've got Bob with his grill gun, melting an ice sculpture. It is awesome. The ice sculpture represents our life, right? It's here for a time, but we all need to have the sense of urgency to implement the things that we're learning so that we can make the most of the time that we have. We are outside. You can see a line behind me. What's going on is that we partner with different companies to help them implement the proven systems over and over and over again. And one of those companies is Master Machine. And so what we like to do is partner with these companies to also help them give samples to other people as they come to the conference and truly get their name out. I just wanted to recap some of the amazing things that have happened today. We've had entrepreneurs like Paul Hood with Hood CPAs. We've had Jill Donovan and Michael Levine come up and just impart so much wisdom and knowledge. We've got an incredible giveaway for one of our TVs. Hey there, Thrive Nation. One of the things that we love most about our business conferences is that we want every entrepreneur to leave with their questions answered. So what we do is we let them put the questions up on the board here so that they can ask their specific questions, and Clay will not end the conference until every question is answered. Behind us Clay Clark is answering all the different questions that entrepreneurs have brought to the conference. Whenever someone comes here and starts to hear this information, especially for the first time, it just brings about so much anticipation of wanting to actually implement the proven systems and processes. And so Clay always wants to make sure that he answers all of their questions so that they are the most set up for success to be able to go home and start implementing. If you have any questions, email us at info@thrivetimeshow.com.
Hello, I'm Wes Carter. I'm one of the shareholders at Winters & King. My favorite thing that Thrive has helped me accomplish here in our firm is thinking a little bit outside the box. They do SEO, they do printing, they help us with a lot of things from the day-to-day marketing for the firm, but they also help us think of things that as attorneys we probably wouldn't normally think of that help us market our services to our clients. One of the things I love about working with Thrive is that they make it enjoyable to actually do work with them. It's not dry, it's usually fun, but it's always very enjoyable and practical. They give me things and ideas that I can put into place. It's not just some theoretical spiel that they give me. We get practical steps that we work on together to do my job better. So me personally, I would easily recommend Thrive 15 services to my friends, my families. I recommend them to my clients. I think they do a good job. They're passionate. They care about their clients. And I think it's actually a valuable service they provide to people that are in the business world.
My name is Jeff Thomas. I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia. It's all about getting to the grindstone. It is about it's one thing to have a specific vision or a dream, but knowledge without application isn't knowledge at all. That's nothing. Really funny. The atmosphere is very lively. Everybody that is working for Clay is very upbeat and not tired, not sluggish, not complaining, not whining. They don't have anything to do with those types of characteristics. It's all about getting to the grind and having fun while you do it. I haven't actually been to any conferences in the past, but what I will say from what I've seen on YouTube and what from other friends have told me is this isn't like a motivational kind of thing to just, hoo-hoo, rah-rah, get you motivated, but it's like practical steps that if you do take them, which most people aren't willing to do, then you will grow and you'll achieve the specific things that you want. Well, for one thing, I would say that this isn't necessarily for everyone. So if you're not willing to work, this isn't for you. But I will say that if you are willing to work and you're just getting started, but you have actually taken a step in that direction, then this will actually help you grow further exponentially than you could ever imagine.
My name is Taylor Hall. I'm the general manager of the Tulsa Oilers professional hockey team. Our goal every night here at the BOK Center is to try to fill the seats with lots of people and create an exciting environment so when somebody comes to a game, they want to come back. Working with Clay and the staff at Thrive, they've really helped us in many, many ways. Website and graphic design and video production and a lot of things that go along. And a lot of businesses, including ours, doesn't have a staff for a full-time videographer or graphic designer. But the biggest thing that we noticed was the needle mover. More sales, more attendance, more successes in business. We had a record year last season working with Clay for the first time. Our average attendance is higher than it's ever been. So there was a lot of really cool things that we did and they worked. That's the nice thing about working with Clay and the team over there. It's just not one person, you get the entire team. If you need video design and editing and production, they've got that. If you need graphic design, if you need some coaching, your salespeople and call scripts, PR, they offer all that. Clay was instrumental in helping guiding us and getting us on the right track so that we could really raise the bar and become ultra successful. So it's been an amazing experience for us.
My name is Caitlin. I own a tumbling gym called Justice Tumbling Company in Tulsa. Working with Clay is so helpful, just being diligent with everything and making sure we execute our goals and just really make things happen. It's fun, it's high, it really gets you energized and going and just makes
I'm actually a client that of Thrive 15, and I learn so much from what I'm learning at this conference and from my regular weekly attendance that it's helping me establish the business and get it off the ground. Clay's presentation style is just blatant disregard for what anybody wants. He just has fun. It's him. Everything that you see is authentically Clay. It's a great deal of fun. Everybody enjoys it. They know when they walk in, they think they're coming into a carnival, and frankly they are. It's just great fun. There's not another conference like it. You just don't go to a carnival atmosphere and learn like you do here at a Thrive conference. It's great. The reason people should attend at least one of these conferences is because it's common sense. And everybody's fed an entire line about the way you should run a business, but until you actually experience running a business, which is candidly what you learn here, how to run a business, you don't know what you're doing.
My name is Tyler Hastings, and this is my wife, Rachel, and our company is Delricht Research out of New Orleans. During our time working with Thrive, we've had numerous successes. When we first started, we were working with one physician. We had one research site, and we were seeing on average, between 10 and 15 patients a week. Since working with Thrive in the last 18 months, we now have 4 research sites. We work with over 5 physicians, and on average, we're now seeing over 60 patients per week. Recently, we've been the top enroller worldwide in 7 studies, which is just incredible considering where we were 2 years ago, 18 months ago.
Thrive really differs from the other conferences that we've been to and the other kind of programs that we've been through because they actually really practice what they preach, and they implement the same systems and the processes that they teach you about, and they give you real life examples that have really worked for them and show you with the training how to implement that yourself. For example, Tyler and I actually got the opportunity to come out to Tulsa, and we're fortunate enough that the Thrive team took us out to some of the businesses that they own, and we really got to see in real life, real time, some of the systems and processes, and it was just incredible. A real life example of some of the businesses and the things that they're implementing.
Having a coach is important to us. They act as not only an accountability factor, but they're someone we can talk to on a daily basis as we go through the problems of running a business that inevitably come up. They always understand what we're going through, and they're always there to help us or guide us through the problems that we experience. The best part of our experience working with Thrive has just been seeing our relationship grow. So at each step as our business grows, they have something else to provide us with. They've got the resources, whether it be marketing, graphic design, website development, or even into accounting practices. Maybe we need a new insurance policy. They have someone they can connect us with, or they have the direct resource we need to speak with for any of the problems we face. If someone's thinking about signing up for the coaching program, I would highly recommend that they call in for a free 30-minute coaching session and see exactly what the team can do for you. Just speak with someone, let them know what you're going through, and I think you'll find that, regardless of what you need, there's someone there that can help you.
Clay's presentation style is very real and raw. Like, it just gets real down to the bone of it and the real purpose of it. There's no, fluffy vagueness about it, So, he really gets to the point. I'm always reminded about how important it is to be intentional and to really pay attention to how you schedule your time and really honor it. Because whatever gets scheduled gets done. That's what he said from Lee Cockrell. So, just constantly hearing that and getting reminded helps me to reinforce that into my own life. It always helps to get an outside perspective, and especially from a guy that's grown so many multi-million-dollar businesses. It doesn't hurt. So.
My name is Nick Guajardo. I heard about the Thrive Time Show workshop through Andy Matherin. He is my Andy Matherin and Larry Montgomery. They're my bosses at Restore Home Health. So I work with a home health company called Restore Home Health, and my role is pretty much to bring in business. So I was hoping to learn kind of the sales process on top of just kind of the responsibilities, and help understand what it looks like on the SEO side, and just kind of an all around what it looks like to own a business, because that's something I want to do in the future for sure. How I would describe the atmosphere here at Thrive is high energy, great professionalism, great people. It's a place you definitely want to visit and be at. Clay's delivery style, humorous, professional, hilarious. He does it. I haven't seen someone do it better. So he does a great job. Most valuable thing I've learned so far, a lot of it has been extremely valuable. But one thing that's really stuck out to me is learning the SEO stuff. I mean, that is, I think, things you don't really even think about, and then you hear it, and you think you know it, but you don't know it. So I feel like that was the most valuable. Well, they're missing out on just what comes down to just basic applications to be a business owner. I mean, I feel like it's like an absolute necessity, to come here and learn the ins and outs, and maybe come here once or twice if they take good notes, that kind of thing. Why? It's the experience here and what you can learn. Like, absolutely.
So marketing and SEO seemed like something that would be very scary, but then in the way that Clay and his team described it, became very clear and concise, and something that's very accessible to any business owner. I've learned a lot about marketing at this conference, and a lot about business management and HR, really everything, the key components of anybody's business. They're going to give you the best tools to be successful in it. So most workshops or conferences can be really boring, really one note, or they just seem so theatrical that it's a joke and it's not even giving you the tools that you need or that you came there for. But here it's still high energy, it's still fun, everything's to the point, but it's very professional, and you're missing out on easy steps to use in your business that are very accessible and very clear.
My name is Abigail McCarter. The best thing I've learned so far is definitely like organization, schedule-wise, always keeping a to-do list, keeping your calendar organized. I'm kind of all over the place, so that's always good to know. So Clay's presentation style and the atmosphere is electric. It's so energetic, it's so fun. Clay's hilarious, but also knows a ton, so it's just really great all around. This conference is much different than any other conference I've gone to, again, because it's fun. Like a lot of other conferences, it's like really quiet, really cold, and you're just kind of get bored. But this one, you're like always engaged, you're always learning something, and the staff is amazing. They're always super helpful, so it's just been really great.
My name's Clint Howard. We're a personal training and fitness training facility. Oh wow, I'm learning a ton. Like this morning so far has been search engine optimization. So really just the importance of being at the top of Google, how Google works, and why it's so important to go out and get video reviews and testimonials and getting Google reviews. And so all those things we can take back and really apply that like immediately. So it's really cool to see not only how to do it, but really the relevance and importance of it for your long-term strategy of your business. No, it's amazing. Actually, on the way in this morning and yesterday, I was videoing as I was walking in the front entrance. And actually, I go to a lot of seminars. I go to a lot of conferences, masterminds. I've been doing that since I was like 22 years old. So, gosh, almost 20 years now. And this is by far the most entertaining. Not only the content's amazing, but Clay and you guys do a great job of mixing in edutainment, entertainment, where it's fun, it's fresh, it's lively. You never get bored. And I heard a study one time that the reason that children learn so much quicker is because it's fun, learning is fun. And so obviously Clay has nailed that, where it's very fun to be here and keeps you awake, keeps you energized. So I'm having a blast. Yeah, I think any business owner or someone that wants to own a business or considering starting a business should definitely come. I know that I was referred here by friends of mine and clients of mine, and I've referred other people. Again, just to understand what it takes to make a business successful, to have a good time, obviously, again, like I was just saying, have fun, and network. There's a lot of other people here you can learn from, and there's a lot of breaks you can talk to other people. So I think this is a must-attend for anybody that owns a business or that wants to start a business.
My name's Jamie Fagel. I'm with Jameson Fine Cabinetry. I heard about the conference through Andrew. He's the coach that I deal with here at the Thrive. The most valuable piece I found, even working with Andrew, but it's been solidified when it came here, was you got to actually do the things that they're telling you. With no action, you're not going to get anything from it. I would highly recommend this to almost anybody in business today. I have recommended it to some of my other business partners. It's phenomenal. It's really something that if you want to start a business, the old way of doing things is gone. This is what you got to do. It's the only way it'll work.
Hey, this is Charles and Amber Koloff. We're the owners of Koloff Fitness.
The way we're able to do that is working with Clay for the last 3 years. He has really readjusted our thinking and taught us that our business is here to serve us. And by doing that, we're able to live the lifestyle we want and take off on a random vacation last minute. So we had totally planned on being at the conference. So wish we could be there and meet all of you. We know you're having a great time. So
yes, Clay in the last 3 years has helped us build all the necessary systems, checklists, workflows, task lists, time blocks, audits that are always running, and the right capable lieutenants to keep track of all that so that you too can get time freedom, financial freedom. And that's what we have done, and Clay has helped us do. We've got multiple companies in multiple states, and they're all doing very well, getting ready to go 2 more locations in this next year. And Koloff Fitness has a really big future. We're teaming up with a couple other groups, and we should scale the company here shortly. Hopefully we'll open like 50 locations in the next 10 years. So, but yeah, we're on the way. We're gonna probably more than double our company, maybe triple our company in the next 8 to 9 months. And it's just awesome. God is working in our business, and we're making Jesus and changing lives. We're a strong Christian company that focuses on making Jesus famous and changing lives in the fitness field. And this is Charles and Amber Koloff. Thank you, Thrive. Hit your action items. We love you guys. Yeah. We wish we were there. You guys have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
My name is Jennifer Johnson. I'm in the pest control industry and also weed control and fertilization, and my business is Platinum Pest and Lawn. Some of the things that I'll be able to apply a lot of the things that I've learned in our business because this is not my first conference, and so a lot of the things that we learned we've put into place, and now we're doing the next level of refining the processes or just the different concepts, and so it's getting better and better. Things that were just big processes before, we have the foundation laid, and now we're able to make it better and better, and I'm hearing different things now that we've implemented things, and so we can just make it even better implementing it into our own business. Clay's presentation and the atmosphere is very exciting and fun. It keeps you awake. It makes it interesting. You have a lot of information, but if it's not going to be entertaining, your brain is going to tune it out. But Clay makes it just entertaining enough that you retain what you learn. Lots of rhyming and catchy things so that you remember stuff. Something that makes this conference different than other workshops or conferences that I've been to is that there's a lot of people here in my same situation. Most of us are pretty small businesses wanting to improve, and we want real life information and something that will work and that's attainable and not just some crazy magic formula, but actual action items that we can implement in our business and actually see a difference. Everyone should attend a Thrive Time Business Conference, whether you're a business owner or not. If you're a business owner, it has practical applications that you can apply to so many different parts of your business, and then you need to come back for more so that you can keep doing more of the wonderful things that you learn. But secondly, I am also a mom of 3 kids, and a lot of the concepts can actually be applied to home, like getting routines and getting setting systems at home has just seriously made a huge difference in my life at home. So I've been able to improve our business, but I've also been able to improve things at home, and so that's why everyone should come, no matter what your station is in life.
Yeah, my name is Nolan Q. I'm originally from San Francisco, California. The industry that I'm in is financial services. I've learned a ton so far, but what I can best apply from this conference is the opportunity, that hunger to go out there and make a big difference in my industry. Clay's presentation style is amazing. He's got an endless amount of energy. It's contagious, and yeah, by being here, I really do want to go back and be able to face all the adversity that the industry has. Yeah, this conference, the thing that makes it different is it's special because it has a unique set of individuals that all share that same energy. I think he pegs it as dragon energy, but yeah, that everyone should come to multiple, but their first would be very special. Yeah, you're welcome with a lot of enthusiasm. That'll last for a long time.
My name is Gabriella Cruz. Our business is ECS Electric. My husband's the owner, but I'm involved with that, and so we're an electrical company. Well, here at the conference they talk a lot about consistency, and so just staying consistent with different things in the business, and I feel like applying that to our business model will really help us grow. The atmosphere is very positive, uplifting, and then it's very fun and energetic, and so it gets you pumped and it gets you excited, and it encourages you to do big things. Probably how real they are. They tell you up front what you need to do and what's like a no-go, and some conferences they kind of sugarcoat things, so I like how real they are here. I think it'll definitely, if you want your business to grow, I think this would be a great experience, and then not only that, it'll encourage you and inform you on so many things you don't think about on a daily basis.
Hey, I'm Ryan Wimpy. I'm originally from Tulsa, born and raised here. I've definitely learned a lot about life design and making sure the business serves you. The linear workflow for us and getting everything out on paper and documented is really important. Like we have workflows that are kind of all over the place, so having linear workflow and seeing that mapped out on multiple different boards is pretty awesome. That's really helpful for me. The atmosphere here is awesome. I definitely just stared at the walls figuring out how to make my facility look like this place. This place rocks. It's invigorating. The walls are super, it's just very cool. The atmosphere is cool. The people are nice. It's a pretty cool place to be. Very good learning atmosphere. I literally want to model it and steal everything that's here at this facility and basically create it just on our business side. Play is hilarious. I literally laughed so hard that I started having tears yesterday. And we've been learning a lot, which, we've been sitting here, we've been learning a lot, and so the humor definitely helps. It breaks it up. But the content is awesome, off the charts, and it's very interactive. You can raise your hand. It's not like you're just listening to the professor speak, The wizard teaches, but the wizard interacts and he takes questions, so that's awesome. If you're not attending the conference, you're missing about 3/4 to half of your life. You're definitely, it's probably worth a couple $1,000s. So you're missing the thought process of someone that's already started like 9 profitable businesses. So not only is it a lot of good information, but just getting in the thought process of Clay Clark or Dr. Zellner or any of the other coaches, getting in the thought process of how they're starting all these businesses, to me, just that is priceless. That's money. Well, we're definitely not getting upsold here. My wife and I have attended conferences where where it was great information and then they upsold us like half the conference, and I don't want to like bang my head into a wall, and she's like banging her head into the chair in front of her. Like, it's good information, but we're like, oh my gosh, I want to strangle you. Shut up and go with the presentation that we paid for. And that's not here. There's no upsells or anything, so that's awesome. I hate that. It makes me angry. So glad that's not happening. So the cost of this conference is quite a bit cheaper than business college. I went to a small private liberal arts college and got a degree in business. And I didn't learn anything like they're teaching here. I didn't learn linear workflows. I learned stuff that I'm not using, and I haven't been using for the last 9 years. So what they're teaching here is actually way better than what I got at business school. And I went what was actually ranked as a very good business school. I would definitely recommend that people would check out the Thrive 15 conference. The information that you're going to get is just very, very beneficial, and the mindset that you're going to get, that you're going to leave with, is just absolutely worth the price of a little bit of money and a few days worth of your time.
I'm Rachel with Tip Top Canine, and we just want to give a huge thank you to Clay and Vanessa Clark.
Hey guys, I'm Ryan with Tip Top Canine. Just want to say a big thank you to Thrive 15. Thank you to Make Your Life Epic. We love you guys, we appreciate you, and really just appreciate how far you've taken us.
This is our old house, right? This is where we used to live a few years ago. This is our old neighborhood. See? It's nice, right?
So this is my old van, and our old school marketing, and this is our old team. And by team, I mean it's me and another guy.
This is our new house with our new neighborhood. This is our new van with our new marketing, and this is our new team. We went from 4 to 14, and I took this beautiful photo. We worked with several different business coaches in the past, and they were all about helping Ryan sell better and just teaching sales, which is awesome, but Ryan is a really great salesman. So we didn't need that. We needed somebody to help us get everything that was in his head out into systems, into manuals and scripts, and actually build a team. So now that we have systems in place, we've gone from 1 to 10 locations in only a year.
In October 2016, we grossed 13 grand for the whole month. Right now it's 2018, the month of October. It's only the 22nd. We've already grossed a little over 50 grand for the whole month, and we still have time to go. We're just thankful for you, thankful for Thrive and your mentorship, and we're really thankful that you guys have helped us to grow a business that we run now instead of the business running us. Just thank you times 1,000.
So we really just want to thank you, Clay, and thank you, Vanessa, for everything you've done, everything you've helped us with. We love you guys.
Hello, my name is Charles Kolaw with Kolaw Fitness. Today I want to tell you a little bit about Clay Clark and how I know Clay Clark. Clay Clark has been my business coach since 2017. He's helped us grow from 2 locations to now 6 locations. We're planning to do 7 locations in 7 years and then franchise. And Clay has done a great job of helping us navigate anything that has to do with like running the business, building the systems, the checklists, the workflows, the audits, how to navigate lease agreements, how to buy property, how to work with brokers and builders. This guy is just amazing. He's this kind of guy has worked in every single industry. He's written books with like Lee Cockrell, head of Disney, with the 40,000 cast members. He's friends with like Mike Lindell. He does Reawaken America tours where he does these tours all across the country where 10,000 or more people show up to some of these tours. On the day-to-day, he does anywhere from about 160 companies. He's at the top. He has a team of business coaches, videographers, and graphic designers and web developers, and they run 160 companies every single week. So think of this guy with a team of business coaches running 160 companies. So in the weekly, he's running 160 companies. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's doing Reawaken America tours. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's also doing business conferences where 200 people show up, and he teaches people a 13-step proven system that he's done and worked with billionaires, helping them grow their companies. I've seen guys from startups go from startup to being multimillionaires, teaching people how to get time freedom and financial freedom through the system. Critical thinking, document creation, putting it into organizing everything in their head to building into a franchisable, scalable business. Like one of his businesses has like 500 franchises. That's just one of the companies or brands that he works with. So amazing guy, Elon Musk kind of like smart guy. He kind of comes off sometimes as socially awkward, but he's so brilliant and he's taught me so much. When I say that, like Clay is like, he doesn't care what people think when you're talking to him. He cares about where you're going in your life and where he can get you to go. And that's what I like him most about him. He's like a good coach. A coach isn't just making you feel good all the time. A coach is actually helping you get to the best you. And Clay has been an amazing business coach. Through the course of that, we became friends. I was really most impressed with him is when I was shadowing him one time. We went into a business deal and listened to it. I got to shadow and listen to it. And when we walked out, I knew that he could make millions on the deal. And they were super excited about working with him. And he told me, he's like, I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to turn it down because he knew it was going to harm the common good of people in the long run. And the guy's integrity just really wowed me. It brought tears to my eyes to see that this guy, his highest desire was to do what's right. And anyways, just an amazing man. So anyways, impacted me a lot. He's helped navigate anytime I've got nervous or worried about how to run the company or, navigating competition and an economy that's like, I remember we got closed down for 3 months. He helped us navigate on how to stay open, how to get back open, how to just survive through all the COVID shutdowns, lockdowns, because our clubs were all closed for 3 months and you have $350,000 of bills you've got to pay, and we have no accounts receivable, He helped us navigate that, and of course we were conservative enough that we could afford to take that on for a period of time. But it was, anyways, great man. I'm very impressed with him. So Clay, thank you for everything you're doing, and I encourage you, if you haven't ever worked with Clay, work with Clay. He's going to help magnify you, and there's nobody I have ever met that has the ability to work as hard as he does. He probably sleeps 4, maybe 6 hours a day, and literally the rest of the time he's working, and he can outwork everybody in the room every single day, and he loves it. So anyways, this is Charles Kola with Kola Fitness. Thank you, Clay, and anybody out there that's wanting to work with Clay, it's a great opportunity to ever work with him. So you guys have a blessed one. This is Charles Kola. We'll see you guys. Bye-bye.
Hi, I'm Aaron Antis with Shaw Homes. I first heard about Clay through a mortgage lender here in town who had told me what a great job he had been doing for them, and I actually noticed he was driving a Lamborghini all of a sudden, so I was willing to listen. In my career, I've sold a little over $800 million in real estate. So honestly, I thought I kind of knew everything about marketing and homes. And then I met Clay, and my perception of what I knew and what I could do definitely changed. After doing $800 million in sales over a 15-year career, I really thought I knew what I was doing. I've been managing a large team of salespeople for the last 10 years here with Shaw Homes. And I mean, we've been a company that's been in business for 35 years. We've become one of the largest builders in the Tulsa area, and that was without Clay. So when I came to know Clay, I really thought, man, there's not much more I need to know, but I'm willing to listen. The interesting thing is our internet leads from our website has actually, in a 4-month period of time, has gone from somewhere around 10 to 15 leads in a month to 180 internet leads in a month. Just from the few things that he's shown us how to implement that I honestly probably never would have come up with on my own. So I got a lot of good things to say about the system that Clay put in place with us, and it's just been an incredible experience. I am very glad that we met and had the opportunity to work with Clay. So the interaction with the team and with Clay on a weekly basis is honestly very enlightening. One of the things that I love about Clay's perspective on things is that he doesn't come from my industry. He's not somebody who's in the home building industry. I've listened to all the experts in my field. Our company has paid for me to go to seminars, international builder shows, all kinds of places where I've had the opportunity to learn from the experts in my industry. But the thing that I found working with Clay is that he comes from such a broad spectrum of working with so many different types of businesses that he has a perspective that's difficult for me to gain because I get so entrenched in what I do, I'm not paying attention to what other leading industry experts are doing. And Clay really brings that perspective for me. It is very valuable time every week when I get that hour with him. From my perspective, the reason that any business owner who's thinking about hooking up with Thrive needs to definitely consider it is because the results that we've gotten in a very short period of time are honestly monumental. It has really exceeded my wildest expectation of what he might be able to do. I came in skeptical because I'm very pragmatic, and as I've gone through the process over just a few months, I've realized it's probably one of the best moves we've ever made. I think a lot of people probably feel like they don't need a business or marketing consultant because they maybe are a little bit prideful and like to think they know everything. I know that's how I felt coming in. I mean, we're a big company that's definitely one of the largest in town. And so we kind of felt like we knew what we were doing. And I think for a lot of people, they let their ego get in the way of listening to somebody that might have a better or different perspective than theirs. I would just really encourage you, if you're thinking about working with Clay, I mean, the thing is, it's month to month. Go give it a try and see what happens. I think in the 35-year history of Shaw Homes, this is probably the best thing that's happened to us. And I know if you give them a shot, I think you'll feel the same way. I know for me, the thing I would have missed out on if I didn't work with Clay is I would have missed out on literally an 1,800% increase in our internet leads. Going from 10 a month to 180 a month, that would have been a huge financial decision to just decide not to give it a shot. I would absolutely recommend Clay Clark to anybody who's thinking about working with somebody in marketing. I would skip over anybody else you were thinking about, and I would go straight to Clay and his team. I guarantee you're not going to regret it, because we sure haven't.
My name is Danielle Sprick, and I am the founder of D Sprick Realty Group here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. After being a stay-at-home mom for 12 years and my 3 kids started school and they were in school full-time, I was at a crossroads and trying to decide what do I want to do? My degree and my background is in education, but after being a mom and staying home and all of that, I just didn't have a passion for it like I once did. My husband suggested real estate. He's a home builder, so real estate and home building go hand in hand, and we just rolled with it. I love people, I love working with people, I love building relationships, but one thing that was really difficult for me was the business side of things. The processes and the advertising and marketing. I knew that I did not have what I needed to make that what it should be. So I reached out to Clay at that time, and he and his team have been extremely instrumental in helping us build our brand, help market our business, our agents, the homes that we represent. Everything that we do is a direct line from Clay and his team and all that they've done for us. We launched our brokerage, our real estate brokerage, 8 months ago. And in that time, we've gone from myself and one other agent to just this week, we signed on our 16th agent. We have been blessed with the fact that we right now have just over 10 million in pending transactions. 3 years ago, I never would have even imagined that I would be in this role that I'm in today, building a business, having 16 agents. But I have to give credit where credit's due, and Clay and his team and the business coaching that they've offered us has been huge. It's been instrumental in what we're doing. Don't ever limit your vision. When you dream big, big things happen.
I started a business because I couldn't work for anyone else. I do things my way. I do what I think is in the best interest of the patient. I don't answer to insurance companies. I don't answer to large corporate organizations. I answer to my patient, and that's it. My thought when I opened my clinic was I can do this all myself. I don't need additional outside help in many ways. I went to medical school. I can figure this out. But it was a very, very steep learning curve. Within the first 6 months of opening my clinic, I had a $63,000 embezzlement. I lost multiple employees. Clay helped us weather the storm of some of the things that are just a lot of people experience, especially in the medical world. He was instrumental in helping with the specific written business plan. He's been instrumental in hiring good quality employees, using the processes that he outlines for getting in good talent, which is extremely difficult. He helped me in securing the business loans. He helped me with web development and search engine optimization. We've been able to really keep a steady stream of clients coming in because they found us on the web. With everything that I encountered, everything that I experienced, I quickly learned it is worth every penny to have someone in your team that can walk you through and even avoid some of the pitfalls that are almost invariable in starting your own business. I'm Dr. Chad Edwards, and I own Revolution Health and Wellness Clinic.
The conference is kicked off. This house is packed. We've got Aaron Antis with Shaw Homes up there. We've got Steve Currington with Total Lindy Concepts up there talking about what is possible when you just implement, when you do the proven system. It's so exciting. People are going crazy. Now, Michael Levine, writer of many, many PR books, the man who represented people like Michael Jackson, Barbara Streisand, and George Bush. He is standing behind me, speaking to the people here at our conference, talking about branding. One of the greatest branding experts alive today is here at our conference, talking to entrepreneurs. We just wrapped up day one. It was incredible. We had some remarkable speakers. Michael Levine. We just finished with a lady named Jill Donovan, who owns a company called Rustic Cuff, talking about the power of the Dream 100. I cannot wait to see what tomorrow holds. Hey guys, Luke Erickson with the Thrive Time Show here with you. It is day 2 and the energy is high. People are so excited to be showing up. The team is ready. Come on, let's see what it's like to go on in for day 2. Follow me. I tell you what, people are so excited to be here for day 2. It is going to be incredible. Cannot wait to see what today has in store. Right now, here at the conference, we've broken into groups going over search engine optimization. And I know for most of us, myself included, if you hear that term, you go, what is that? What does that mean? That's too techie for me. Well, our experts are breaking it down for people so that you can clearly understand how to come up top in Google. It's doable. It's possible. Now we're in the middle of a break, and what we like to do is we like to give you as much tangible and relevant information from about the start of the hour for 45 minutes. Then we take approximately a 15-minute break to allow people to connect with other entrepreneurs around them, bathroom breaks, and also use this time to just really digest all of the good information that you're receiving the whole time. Right behind me, we've got Bob with his grill gun, melting an ice sculpture. It is awesome. The ice sculpture represents our life, right? It's here for a time, but we all need to have the sense of urgency to implement the things that we're learning so that we can make the most of the time that we have. We are outside. You can see a line behind me. What's going on is that we partner with different companies to help them implement the proven systems over and over and over again. And one of those companies is Master Machine. And so what we like to do is partner with these companies to also help them give samples to other people as they come to the conference and truly get their name out. I just wanted to recap some of the amazing things that have happened today. We've had entrepreneurs like Paul Hood with Hood CPAs. We've had Jill Donovan and Michael Levine come up and just impart so much wisdom and knowledge. We've got an incredible giveaway for one of our TVs. Hey there, Thrive Nation. One of the things that we love most about our business conferences is that we want every entrepreneur to leave with their questions answered. So what we do is we let them put the questions up on the board here so that they can ask their specific questions, and Clay will not end the conference until every question is answered. Behind us, Clay Clark is answering all the different questions that entrepreneurs have brought to the conference. Whenever someone comes here and starts to hear this information, especially for the first time, it just brings about so much anticipation of wanting to actually implement the proven systems and processes. And so Clay always wants to make sure that he answers all of their questions so that they are the most set up for success to be able to go home and start implementing. If you have any questions, email us at info@thrivetimeshow.com. We have come to the end of the 2019 Christmas conference. It was incredible. These entrepreneurs have gotten so many tangible things that they can go and they can implement. Check us out for more information at thrivetimeshow.com. And as we always like to do, we want to end with a boom. 3, 2, 1, boom!
Once I saw what they were doing, I knew I had to get here at the conference. This is probably the best conference or seminar I've ever been to in over 30 years in business.
You're not bored. You're awake, alive the whole time. It's not pushy. They don't try to sell you a bunch of things.
I was looking to learn how to just get control of my life, my schedule, and just get control of the business.
Planning your time, breaking it all down, making time for the F6 in your life, and just really
implementing it and sticking with the program.
It's really lively. They're pretty friendly, helpful, very welcoming.
I attended a conference a couple months back, and it was really the best business conference I've ever attended.
At the workshop, I've learned a lot about time management, really prioritizing what's the most important.
Biggest takeaways are, you want to take a step-by-step approach to your business. Whether it's marketing, what are those 3 marketing tools that you want to use, to human resources.
Some of the most successful people and successful businesses in this town, their owners were here today because they wanted to know more from Clay, and I found that to be kind of fascinating.
The most valuable thing that I've learned is diligence. That businesses don't change overnight. It takes time and effort, and you got to go through the ups and downs of getting it to where you want to go.
He actually gives you the roadmap out. I was stuck, didn't know what to do, and he gave me the roadmap out step by step.
We've set up systems in the business that make my life much easier, allow me some time freedom.
Here you can ask any question you want. They guarantee it'll be answered.
This conference motivates me and also give me a lot of knowledge and tools.
It's up to you to do it. Everybody can do these things. There's stuff that everybody knows, but if you don't do it, nobody else can do it for you.
I can see the marketing working. And it's just an approach that makes sense.
Probably the most notable thing is just the income increase that we've had.
Everyone's super fun, it's super motivating. I've been here before, but I'm back again because it motivates me.
Your competition's going to come eventually, or try to pick up these tactics. So you better, if you don't, somebody else will.
If you decide to not attend the Thrive Time workshop, you're missing out on a great opportunity.
The atmosphere of Clay's office is very lively. You can feel the energy as soon as you walk through the door, and it really got me and my team very excited.
If you decide not to come, you're missing out on an opportunity to grow your business. Bottom line.
Love the environment. I love the way that Clay presents and teaches. It's a way that not only allows me to comprehend what's going on, but he explains it in a way to where it just makes sense.
The SEO optimization, branding, marketing, I've learned more in the last 2 days than I have the entire 4 years of college.
The most valuable thing that I've learned, marketing is key. Marketing is everything.
Making sure that you're branded accurately and clearly. How to grow our business using Google reviews, and then just how to optimize our name through our website also.
Helpful with a lot of marketing, search engine optimization, helping us really rank high in Google.
The biggest thing I needed to learn was how to build my foundation, how to systemize everything and optimize everything, build my SEO.
How to become more organized, more efficient.
How to make sure the business is really there to serve me as opposed to me constantly being there for the business.
New ways of advertising my business as well as recruiting new employees.
Group interviews, number one. Before we felt like we were held hostage by our employees. Group interviews has completely eliminated that because you're able to really find the people that would really be the best fit.
Hands-on how to hire people, how to deal with human resources, a lot about marketing, and overall just how to structure the business, how it works for me, and also then how that can translate into working better for my clients.
The most valuable thing I've learned here is time management.
I like the 1 hour of doing your business is real critical if I'm going to grow and change.
Clay really teaches you how to navigate through those things and not only find freedom, but find your purpose in your business and find the purposes for all those other people that directly affect your business as well.
Everybody.
Everybody.
Everyone needs to attend the conference because you get an opportunity to see that it's real.